Hell
Woo!
yes.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Anime Club.
Oh no.
Jackson,
Dystopia,
just think about it like this.
Song of the
Bucket
dead.
list of the dead.
Dystopia, song of the dead.
Dystopia,
Song of the dead.
Hold on. We are live, but we shouldn't be.
Oh, we shouldn't?
Yeah,
Well,
I've
you
fucked
not
up.
press the button?
No, it's okay. We're all gonna be okay. I just forgot to change the stream details again.
I made an oopsie whoopsie.
I also
You do
think...
that a lot.
Oh no, we're public. It's fine. Everything's
A
fine.
fucky wucky, if you will.
Just
All
edit
right.
the.
Can we get
thumbnail
that
up
energy
and-
back? Can we make it authentic? Can we get Dystopia,
Dystopia,
songs of the dead?
Dystopia,
Dystopia, song of the dead.
Dystopia,
song of the dead.
Is anybody
I love
actually listening to this on stream? Because that must have been terrible.
Random
Probably.
overlapping
There's
noises,
4 people
God.
watching.
Why do you think I deafened?
themselves? Yeah.
All right, hello, concurrent viewers. We're gonna give people a second to file in, but welcome to October's spooky anime club, where we watch the scariest zombie show out there, Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead. Zom 100 is... I really need to do this research before we start Anime Club, but Zom 100 is a show from a season of anime. Zom 100...
It
It
was
was
in
like-
2022?
It's winter
I think it was
2023.
It came out last year.
23.
You
was-
think I
it was
remember
last
what
year.
I had for breakfast this morning? It was apples and
I
peanut
had
butter.
eggs on toast.
I have not really had breakfast. I'm just eating popcorn because I'm
I
gonna
am
be baking
always
bread
off
with a
the
friend
heels of the
later.
graveyard shift every single one of these streams. So
Everyone in chat, one of you 15-ish people, can you tell me that audio's okay? I know last month we had some issues.
Here, I'll check.
Well,
Yeah, same for me.
I have an idea. What if we just one by one did a test?
no, we're not going to do that. That would be the easy way out.
Okay, I guess we're not gonna do that.
Yeah, no, I'm in the stream and I just heard it and it sounds okay.
Yep, no, Tenik and
Okay.
I did a test before
Nobody's-
we started and everything sounded fine. But I
And
didn't
nobody is
change
louder
anything.
than the other.
I didn't change anything. These are the same settings from last month.
Mhm.
And everybody complained so much last month.
I think it's just because you have a better mic quality than everybody else.
I
But
think
they
they
said I
complained
was
about me
worse.
and Jams a lot.
Don't worry about them. They're haters.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
I just gotta.
No one
I
can
gotta
hate
get
you,
sound
Tom
for channeling
Ziak.
and
They're all
everything
they're all
better.
jealous.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone in our YouTube chat. This month we're going to be talking about Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead, a show from the Winter 23 season, animated by Studio Shaft. Make
No.
myself a bit louder or others quieter. I can make myself
It was
louder.
not animated by Shaft.
Animated by Studio
it was
Shaft.
animated by Bug Films.
It was animated by Bug Films.
What? Is
Bug
that
Films,
who Bug Films was?
Bug Films was a brand new studio.
What
this
the
is
hell?
this is literally their only show out in
Yeah.
that was produced right now. The other show that is credited to them on my anime list is the upcoming adaptation of Witch Hat Atelier.
So
Oh,
it's edited by
really?
Studio Shaft. By Shaft Bug Films. By the bugs of Studio Shaft got together and unionized and made this anime? Do I have that right?
Yeah,
Alright. So all of the
Oh, people who
insects in the
used to go to
Studio Shaft
Shaft.
office
yeah.
got together and made an anime, and it was actually really good for bugs. Not that it was good
Yeah.
for
I know,
bugs
right?
to watch, but it was
Well, you
very
know how
high
silk
quality.
comes from silkworms, who are bugs?
Mhm.
This
I guess
is
that
that is the
explains-
best tagline for this show you could possibly
Zom
give. It
100
is a
Bucket
good
List
show
of the
for
Dead,
bugs.
A good show for bugs.
I guess that explains why it took so long for them to finish the OP.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my
wondering about that.
9
Yeah,
episodes,
no.
man. Isn't that insane?
Mhm.
Yeah, no,
I
I was
love
literally
their
doing.
fucking AMV game as the episodes built on, though. Like, they were like, okay, we need to fill the space where the song is, and we don't have animation dedicated to it. AMV time, let's go! And
Mhm.
they hit it every single time. Like,
It
I am
wasn't
well versed
bad.
in AMV. It's so good.
They
I
actually
admit it-
attempted to make like the scenes land on the beat. So
Yeah, and I appreciate that
succeeded.
it's like. It's also like if you're not binging the series like I did, it's like, oh, they kind of give you a little slideshow, like up until like episode I think like 6 or 7 ish. they give you a little slideshow of what happened in the last episode, and it's like, I mean, like it's kind of a quick little, okay, this is what happened last time. That's
I think it's
something
up
that
until episode 9.
long form series usually do.
Yeah, which I
And then,
don't
like, okay,
think
but
is
it's
a
really-
bad use of footage from the show being in the OP.
Absolutely not.
If we're gonna
No.
do it.
But it is indicative of the production cycle of this show, which was abysmal.
I've heard
and,
horrible things and done no research.
Mhm.
Educate
I mean,
us, please.
It was
Tell us.
It was a show that like it took place over the course. These 12 episodes aired over the course of 6 months,
Mhm.
which is not
Wow.
good, right? Yeah. So like, just for like weeks and weeks and weeks on end, new episodes weren't coming out, and I'm pretty sure because at first it was a Netflix exclusive, they didn't have to put it out. There was no they didn't lose a broadcasting spot on TV because they didn't have to
Netflix.
broadcast it on TV. Yeah, it was on Netflix,
Mhm.
right? So like it was just coming out sporadically on Netflix, and the show had a lot of hype when it, first started, but then very quickly died off after, episodes were not coming out for weeks on end. And apparently it was just like, I mean, we've heard horror stories from the anime industry about like how much crunch there is, how the deadlines are awful, how the working conditions are just terrible. And that was apparently basically all that it was. It was just that times 100,
Which is ironic.
Yeah, because it's
Very.
a show.
Yeah.
That's all I was
Show.
thinking about when I was watching
Mhm.
this show.
Can you imagine being one of the people working on this show? Like, yeah, Tendo, you're doing great, buddy. Live
Yeah.
your life. Ride
Yeah.
that Vespa.
Yeah.
God, I can only imagine the most concurrent thought amongst all members of staff were, God, I wish the zombie apocalypse were real.
Mhm. I'd
but
rather
on,
get
but
eaten by zombies than spend another day animating the show.
I will
Alright.
say though,
Hey, real
even
quick,
though-
can we make Nern a mod for saying play instead? I see you, Nern. I respect you. I love you. Thank
God,
you.
if it weren't for the fact that Nern had done nothing wrong, I would have timed outed them. Just for that.
But yeah, so all that crunch, and granted, once they get to the OP in episode 9, boy, is it worth it. Because that OP fucking slaps. It is my new favorite.
Oh.
And I listened to it, I watched, like, because I binged the show in a whole day. And then I like would wake up the next day and like I would like put it on while I was like getting ready for work to like give myself a little bit of energy. And my goodness, something about a mix of the cool little dancing zombies and Akira looking dressing up as Luffy and Kanabun just fucking making the like a little party anthem. It just it does something to me. I don't know what.
No,
it's just so positive.
It's a very playful OP, and it suits the tone of the show so well.
And I love all the shots that you see of like the zombies like doing like normal, like it's like their normal. It really reflects like the themes of the show because it's like
It's
they're on the
metaphor.
train and that they're all like they're all like playing on their phones just like waiting for the train to get off. They're you don't really see them doing a lot of the zombie things that they do in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're normal employees like trying to come and do like a little music video. And it's just
I
it's
really
such
like.
No, go ahead.
I do have to ask though, because I skipped the OP most of the time. So, like, in what way is it incomplete in like earlier episodes?
So
Like,
up until episode 9, they're like they have like the first 30 seconds of the OP being the same every time, and then it just kind of goes to either shots of like the previous episode or just kind of like a few different animated shots of like getting like you can see. If you go on YouTube and look it up, they have like a version 1 and a version 2 to kind of give you an idea of the difference.
Yeah.
But like I can imagine getting all the dancing animation was probably like the biggest hurdle. But
Oh
Like I
yeah,
said, it
that's
was-
definitely rotoscoped, and I love rotoscoping.
Oh my gosh, 100%. And my favorite little factoid that I learned, because it's like I'm the kind of person that like when I watch something a few times, I'll scroll the comments because it's like sometimes they'll have little fun facts. When people get like really excited about something. Apparently, there's a point in the OP, like I said, when Akira is like vaguely dressed like Luffy One Piece, and apparently during that time, the lyrics of the song are saying, "We will do whatever we want," and I'm like,
I love that.
man, I don't know if that's true, but I really want it to be true.
I don't know enough about Japanese to prove you wrong, but I don't want to.
I have a little bit of Duolingo. That's about where I got.
Well,
Did you guys watch this in the sub or the dub?
dub.
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 Okay, I watched it.
Did
in the
anyone
sub.
watch it sub then?
I
Yeah,
watched it sub.
Overwhelming majority dub.
Yeah. Have you not heard Kensho's voice? It's perfect.
Mhm.
I literally
I
haven't,
love
but
the
watched it in the
energy
sub.
coming off of this actor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love the energy coming off of like every actor. Like they all hit the levels of energy they need to exactly.
They had an incredible
Yeah.
cast for the dub.
Mm-hmm.
Beatrice becomes uniquely cute, I think, when you hear just her cute little accent, and she's just like, she's
the
just
Germanisms.
happy to be here.
They even do that in the manga, at least for some translations. They try and keep the accent.
What do you mean they keep the accent in the manga?
Phonetically, they keep the accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think all the in the sub, I think they mistranslated all her little weird I guess Germanisms of her saying like German words like thank you and stuff like that. I think they mistranslated those in the sub, so
How so?
Oh
Mm-hmm.
man.
when she's clearly saying thank you like in English, they translated it to danka shoe.
Dank a shoe. All right.
Yeah.
So
Like,
so it's
not
like
DANKASHOE. I know danka is a like thank you, but I don't know what the shoe is.
D-A-N-K-E.
Yeah.
thank you
Danke
in.
schön is thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, that was probably a spelling mistake.
I don't know because there is. I mean, this one I could be totally off base with, but there were points in the show where she was saying "wonderful" and they translated it to "wonderbar."
Yeah, that's German. But
Okay.
Wunderbar.
Yeah. Wunderbar.
Yeah, maybe it's because there were no like accents there that I was like, "What is happening?"
well,
but
there's not supposed to be an
and-
accent.
is there?
Not on that word. No.
Well,
No
and like that's
diacritics on
where
that word.
That I'm not sure.
and that's where
Maybe
the
it was
difference
just
between a
misspelling.
lot of where like Japanese and a lot of like Western languages kind of like interact. That's why a lot of Japanese jokes don't work in English very well because it's weird. It's weird like borders between what the way that something like that is the way that something like that is words. Sorry. The way that something like that is like pronounced.
I mean,
Yeah,
Japanese also just has
phonetic
different
languages.
different grammar structure, like entirely.
Yeah, that's
so
what I was trying to think of. I'm still waking up. I'm sorry.
it's cool. It's cool.
This reminds me of my transliterating something on the fly moment this month of like where if I watch an OP enough times, I will start translating random lines to be singable.
Yeah.
And specifically the line I chose, ironically, is already in English, but the phrase "I want a dancing, dancing, rolling, rolling, only one my life." That's not
English.
that doesn't scan into English. That's just English words in an order. So I ended up transliterating it into "I want to break out, dancing, spin out, rolling, only got one life," and it's really fun. I like that.
I like that a lot. That's something that I've noticed. Like, I don't listen to English covers of Japanese songs very often, but they always take the English words, word for word, from the Japanese song, when first off, I think they should be translated into Japanese. And but second,
Interesting.
you all laugh because it's absurd, but it's right and you know it.
No, that's fair.
I won't
did
deny
find-
it.
Only
I
kind of.
did find a guy. So it was like I was also trying to find like it was like I just like listened to the theme song a lot, and I was looking through other options, and like English covers come up, and there was a guy that came. I'm pulling up the video now. I'm not gonna like send it, but I'm just gonna like. It's like the way that he did the English cover is like he listened to like the Japanese version, and he made it so it's like the like. Hang on, like I said, I gotta find the specific thing, but it's a sound-alike cover, so it means like he's hitting the same beats that they would be in Japanese while also so it's like it's still sounding the same, like it's ending with the same phonetics as like the Japanese version of the song, but like he's also still like translating it so it's like the song has like the same themes.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds so uniquely difficult.
Absolutely.
I guess it is, but like he gets a lot of views doing it, and it was a very like the cover was like, yeah, this really like matches what I'm listening to.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been doing.
Like, no, it's like similar to what you were doing, because it's like he did the like he wasn't exactly like that, but it was the way he did the chorus was I want to dance and roll and only live my life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
I like Jams better, but
yeah, Jams is better.
No, I agree.
But I'm really glad that Jams brought this up, because it's something I think about a lot every time I hear these, like, I don't want to say broken English, but that's where my brain is going. Every time I hear this grammatically incorrect English in these Japanese songs, is that when you're translating these in the subtitles especially, like I said, first off, make it Japanese, but second, like, you're a translator, like, make it make sense, localize it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to just take these words because, like, they use sounds that you know and just put them in your translation word for word. That's not your job. You're not doing your job if you do that.
Well, some people would say that they are, some people would say that they weren't.
And I'm one of the people who says that they aren't.
And I say if you choose to do that, that's you doing it on hard mode, and you have to do it right.
Some people absolutely hate and loathe and despise localizations. They just want it translated like one-to-one, which is impossible. They just want it
translated, but first off, like you said, that's not possible.
It's impossible.
Second, the more you try to do that, the worse your product is going to be. Translators are writers, deal with it.
Yeah.
This is not the video about the art of dubbing that I have been pitching to ExPoint for many times now, but
yeah, I remember you doing that even once.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's been like a year since I last brought it up, but like I think it was like me, you, and Scrub, and I'm like I was literally making like a small rant about how it was like I kind of wanted to write a video on it, and then I'm like, you know what, you'd probably say it better than I could because you're the one with actual writing experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
Boom Bomb in the chat mentions German fan subs of Attack on Titan changing the German words in the opening. Of course you do. Like, I don't speak German, but I speak enough Dutch to know that the German words in the Attack on Titan opening do not merit the soundtrack that they've got. You change that to Latin.
Yeah,
I was gonna suggest Latin. I think maybe we should just turn every opening into Latin. Therefore, it is perfect in every language.
We need to change it to Greek so that so specifically the English phrase "it's all Greek to me" applies to every.
Hey!
Real.
All right.
Well, when in Rome.
If that's what we want to do, then we should do it. Which brings us to our discussion of Psalm 100.
Oh yeah!
Indeed.
We'll put it on the bucket
Oh
list.
yeah, we were talking about an anime here. I almost
Yeah, I was about to say, we're probably gonna need to start soon, because I don't think Jams and I are going to be able to stop talking.
What are you talking about? We started 20 minutes ago. This has all been perfectly relevant, and I'm sure that the two people paying attention in chat are perfectly happy with it. Hello, chat. Welcome to the Anime Club.
I mean, it did start as a discussion about the show itself, so I would argue that it does have relevance.
Did you make a bucket list after watching it? I tried and realized that there would be like 2 things on it. I've lived a very fulfilling life.
Yeah, same. I guess maybe go skydiving?
I can't make a bucket list until after my wedding because that is the
A
only
bucket
thing I
list
can focus on right
genuinely
now.
sounds overwhelming to me.
Sure.
I didn't
Mhm.
make a bucket list because I watched this last night and then passed out and woke up and now I'm here. So
I did go through a period where I started writing my to-do list every morning and starting it with like an approximate number of days I have left to live.
Damn. Okay.
Because I thought that would
I
be
mean-
motivating, and it wasn't.
really trying to nail the numbers down on that one.
No, that made me depressed for a while.
Gracious.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Anyway,
Zom 100 bucket list of the dead. Oh boy, is this
Discuss.
I think just based on everyone talking about it in chat, I think we all like really liked this show.
Absolutely.
No.
Like
no.
I
Well, Tenet can leave.
Nick, did you say you didn't
No,
like
that's-
it or that you hated it?
Well, no, I'm not saying either. I just had kind of a lukewarm reception of it. I thought it was like a perfectly fine, serviceable show, like fairly
Mhm.
fun. Like, but if it wasn't for the stream, I probably would have dropped it by episode 3 or 4,
Mhm.
just because I
oh
wouldn't
my
care enough.
goodness.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy.
fair.
This is the first anime on Anime Club that I'm doing that I actually liked the show, like a quite considerable amount. I was like, hell yeah, this one's good. This is awesome.
To be fair, what has
I
been the
believe-
Anime Club offerings? I know that Arrow Manga Sensei was 2 months ago. Last month was
Your boy Kong
Yeah,
Ming.
Boy
Boy
Kong Ming, which was
Kong Ming.
okay.
It was I
That
gave it
was
a
it.
5, right? So, you know, it is what it is.
If I've learned anything, this is why we don't let Scrub pick shows.
Well, Scrub gets to pick the shows. That's how it always goes.
Zom 100 was my pick!
Yes,
I know.
Zom 100.
Technically, it was my pick. I did also give Jabs like a roulette wheel to choose.
Yeah.
All right,
I was
Let's
just like random
start-
number.
let's start with episode 1 here, if everyone's ready. I feel like we've
Mhm.
talked about the OPED enough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, I just want to say one more thing about the ED. I really like the detail in the ED that the zombies are holding the little letter cards that say life, and it's written in this weird, messy little font. And then the humans are holding the death cards, like the little letter cards that just spell out death, and it's in this really clear block font. I just find that juxtaposition is very fun. It's very tasty to my little brain.
Actually, sorry, I also have one more thing to say about the ED. I just really like how sometimes they'll just start the ED music in the background and then cut to that specific part in the ED.
I guess I never paid attention to the ED, which is my bad.
Yeah,
me
sometimes
neither.
the ED, like, animation will just start at different points, depending
like
on
the
how long
song.
the music's already been playing.
That's not bad.
That
at all.
is cool.
I like the song a lot.
I missed it a lot because, like I said, we ended a stream where it was like we were all hanging out. We ended a hangout stream, and I'm like, hey, I need to go iron clothes. And then I started ironing clothes, and I just put on the show, and then I finished the show in a day.
Mhm. No, I did.
so
I did
I-
watch most of this in one day too.
It's a very easy watch.
It's very bingeable. All right, episode
Pacing
1.
is
Mhm.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Akira of the Dead. Akira Tendo is a young office worker who hates his job. 3 years ago, an excited Akira came to work in Tokyo after graduation, but increasingly becomes disillusioned after learning his company ruthlessly exploits their employees. Despite being depressed, he continues to stay due to his co-worker Saori Otori, the only one who treats him with kindness but is unable to confess his feelings since Otori is the CEO's mistress. When a zombie outbreak hits Tokyo, rather than despair, Akira greets it with happiness because he's finally free. He heads to Otori's apartment to rescue her, only to discover that he is too late, and she and the CEO have turned into zombies. Akira tells the CEO he quits before pushing him to his death and confesses his feelings to a zombified Otori before escaping. Realizing he might get killed during the outbreak, Akira makes a bucket list of 100 things he wants to do before he becomes a zombie.
He's so
Even though he
boy.
puts like
Love this
30
boy.
things on that.
30 things, yeah. A bucket list of 100 things.
There you go. He's like,
okay,
I'll get
wait.
to the rest eventually.
Okay.
33 more like.
Real talk, it's kind of funny that you bring that up. We still don't have 100 things in the manga.
But
Really?
Oh my goodness.
I mean, you can't ever have 100 things, right? That's when
We're
you
at
signal
like
that the final arc is
94.
starting.
We're at like
That's
94
fair.
things written out at this
I thought
point.
the manga was over.
Oh.
No, the manga's not over. We're like 2/3 of the way
Oh.
done.
Oh. okay.
2/3?
Yeah, we're on
But you have
chapter
94
70.
things.
I think the mangaka wants to end this at chapter 100.
That makes sense.
Oh,
I
I
can
would
see it.
love that.
You've
Because
done
numbers-
66 things on the bucket list by now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know that we're on episode 1 and I'm talking about episode 12 here, but I fucking hate how in episode 12 all of them just scrawled up to 85 things on the list.
Yeah.
That's an absurd number.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go from like 40 to 85 in a jump cut.
Yeah, I get the feeling that it was like one of those situations where like they're like, hey, we wanted to have more time to do this, but we ran out of budget, so we're just kind of having to put it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a little depressing, but
What?
Wait, but what at the end?
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
confused now.
think I follow. Why would adding shit to the list be a budget issue? Especially if it's the same way in the manga, which, to be fair, I don't know.
Well, because you would have to, like, set up why they're adding every single one of those 40 items to the list if you don't do it in a cut off screen.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the manga they just cut off screen, and it was basically just, I just thought of this random thing I would guess I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And like as a little cap end, I can see that. Like, I understand why. It's not necessarily a great option, but I understand why.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very cute.
But anyway, just the
Mhm.
idea of the bucket list in a zombie story, I like this a lot. But
Mhm.
one thing about making a book entitled 100 Things I Want to Do Before I Become a Zombie, and then putting 30 things in it and thinking, I can do it later, is that not thematically inconsistent for anyone else?
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah,
but-
kinda. I get what you mean.
He starts doing things the next day, right?
Sure,
So
I like it. It's thematically inconsistent in a way that buzzes well with my brain.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because it says, like,
It's like a trust fall.
sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tendo is acknowledging the fact that he is going to die. There is going to come a
Mhm.
day when he will no longer be able to cross items off this list. And so he's going through these 30 things and saying, okay, I want to bang a flight attendant. I want to do
Well, he wants to wine and dine a flight attendant.
Huh.
No, it said, pretty sure it said bang. I read the manga, I would know this.
Look,
in the sub, it was
listen,
translated
we
to
are all
wine and
part
dine.
we are all part of an anime book club here. We can read between the lines. He wants to bang a flight attendant.
That's fair. That is a good point.
My thing is, why so specific? Like, what?
Flight
why?
attendant is a pretty common fetish in Japan, I think.
Really?
Is it really?
Yeah.
This isn't the first time I've seen it, at least.
Okay. All right.
They're a fetishized occupation in the way that, like, nurses and teachers are.
Okay, I trust you. Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Bobo brings up a good point. It's kind of sadder to instantly have 100 things you want to do, and like I get that that's like thematically relevant because like he's been living 3 years not really giving a crap about what he's doing and just kind of wanting to die. So it's
Mhm.
like instantly knowing all of the things that he immediately wants to do does make like I get kind of like that is a good point.
I don't agree. I think having all of that time to just sit and stew and think about it and having to take time to think of 30 things just shows how much Akira's life and future have been taken from him by this corporation. Because either he has not had the mental real estate to, or like the hope to think of how he would actually want to spend his free time because this company has been working him to the bone. Or he has had that time and nothing has felt like worthy of being dwelt on. Nothing has felt real enough to put on that mental list of his.
Okay,
I think
all right,
it's much sadder to only be able to come up with 30 and have one of them be try out dreadlocks.
I don't. Okay.
Damn.
And one of them's grow a beard. Like I get what you mean.
No, I'm
Okay.
gonna be so real with you. A lot of the things on the bucket list are very minor things, or they're done in like the most minor way possible. Like
Well,
one
some
of the
them have to be technicalities.
no, one of the ones that was put on there in the final episode was learn to speak English.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, that gets checked off after Kensho and Akira learn how to say McDonald's.
That's so fucking funny.
Just McDonald's, which
I
already
love that.
exists in Japan. They should already know
but-
how to pronounce it.
Well, no, because the Japanese
Yeah,
word
they
for
can say it in
McDonald's is
katakana.
McDonald's.
Oh, that's
Or
fair.
something like
but
that. It's not the English word McDonald's. They're
They-
pronounced
they-
entirely differently.
I suppose,
Mhm.
but they just learned McDonald's. It's like, well, guess cross that
Damn it.
off.
All right.
Anyway,
okay,
so
I
we
get why you would feel the way that you do, ExPoint. Obviously, I get. But like to me, right, Zom 100 is this really on the nose and not in a bad way corporate allegory for being an undead wage slave and why the pursuit of fulfilling, milestones in life is important. It's clearly like a critique on Japanese like work-life balance and the ideas and mindsets that come from failing to uphold the life part of that balance, right? Like,
Yeah.
so just taking that and having the main character vomit on a page being like, this is all the things that I want to do right now. Like, it to me, it feels like, yeah, obviously he wasn't thinking about every single little thing, being like, oh, well, it's these really minor, stupid things that I'm just like, I want to feel fulfillment from these, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. That's just the way I see it.
No, I don't
No,
know
I get
what
you.
you think you're disagreeing with me on, because I really like the inclusion of the minor things on the list. I think it's sad that he thought that they were, like... I guess he never says he thinks they're big priorities, but considering he's not trying to shove this in as, like, number 96, like...
Oh, all right. Yeah, okay, never mind. I thought you were saying...
No,
that-
I love that he thinks
It
that
was.
growing a beard is going to give him some fulfillment in life. Like, every little... That's
Okay,
one thing I
alright.
really love about Tendo as a protagonist, especially for this show, is that
Mhm.
every little thing he wants to do brings him so much joy. It's
The
Yeah,
little
exactly,
things matter because he never got to do either the little things or the big things.
Mhm.
The whole
and-
just wage slave scenes were just so good.
especially when we get to
I
like,
would-
episode 6 or 7 where he sees the manager again.
Oh
Incredible
my god, that episode made me sick, and I love it.
Yep.
And I was about to say, because it's like I wanted to go into like a little bit of a discussion like about the actual like episode 1 and like the very thematic idea that the most like honestly like really kind of disgusting and depressing episode is the first. It happens all before the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, well, that's
Like
the point.
it is. Right, but it's like, and the thing I was gonna like bring up was the fact that like I haven't been around for a lot of these anime clubs in a while. Like I think the last one that I was with you guys for was Skate the Infinity, I want to say. Or
Yeah,
was what way before or
Wrecky
after?
Rain, no slip, big cigarette, no get wet slip.
Indeed,
I was
yes.
in the chat for that one.
Kokoro. Connect?
Kokoro Connect.
I think so.
Heartseat
That's
prank.
What
Yeah.
my sheet is telling me.
It's just a prank, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the last one I was a part of, but like I think I'm pretty sure that this is probably one of like the most obviously politically politically in terms of like opinions about like society and all that. I think this is like the most politically charged anime we've probably done on this show, if I
What are
had
you
to
talking
guess.
about? Arrow Manga Sensei.
Arrow Manga Sensei.
I mean-
sometimes artists have to treat art as a job.
Yeah.
And that also,
To be fair, I did not watch Arrow Manga Sensei. I almost tortured myself with that idea, but then I'm like, I'm already doing bad mentally. I should probably avoid this.
Megalobox is kind of about class, right?
Sure.
Sorta.
It's definitely
It's
about
You-
kind
we
of
can-
about
we can-
class,
When
right?
are
can
we gonna get
pretend.
to Megalobox Season 2?
No, stop. I am so no.
Alright.
Okay, but are we even gonna tell? Because it's like with this one especially, because like you get to episode 11 where it's literally the author just like vomiting out all of the opinions that he has on like society and the way that we look at things and all that, where it literally is embodied in these 4 straw men characters that exist solely to be weird villains for him to talk about.
No, can we talk real quick? And I think we should just give up on the idea of going through this episode by episode. There's no way we're gonna have time for that.
Yeah, no,
it never
everything
works.
is
Yeah,
so
most a lot of
interconnected and like
episodes-
cohesive and
I
interpenetrated
think
within it.
genuinely the best thing to do might just be to like round robin this, where we just start with ExPoint, go down like the Discord list, and then just like we each pick a topic.
The Discord list.
Well,
That might be a lot to
uh,
ask for.
I wanted to talk a little bit, to be a bit of a downer and contrarian, but I wanted to talk about how this show sort of like scratches at my bad vibes radar.
Yeah, I hate it.
Mhm.
I
Yeah?
hate this show.
Okay, cool. I thought I was going to be on the outskirts here.
No, you are.
No,
I was
like
making
I
a
think that
meme.
this show has very good intentions and ultimately a very good message. But it feels
Mhm.
weird to me to have a show that says, yeah, that gives the vibe that the complete collapse of society and the deaths of like almost 100% of people is totally worth it because this guy gets to drink beer on a Tuesday.
I'm gonna be so honest, I don't think the author has ever thought about the consequences of that.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think legitimately, the author just really, really fucking loves zombie settings.
Sure, no, like I get it. It's fine. I'm not saying cancel Zom 100 by any means. It just every now and then I look at this show and I'm like, there's some big anarchist libertarian vibes going on here.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's
because
I get what you
society is
mean.
important, right? You can't just do what you want. You do have responsibilities.
You
But have you
said
considered that I can live in a small rural village in Japan and just subsist off the stuff we produce and hunt there?
Yeah, then you
Yeah.
have to subsist and hunt for your village mates. You have
You-
responsibilities, damn it.
You said this show, it was like this anarchist libertarian vibe, and all I could think is, finally, a show for me! Yay!
It does
so-
have very much a like, you should not follow the person who like, only follow people who care about themselves and those around them.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen? Has anyone here seen CJ the X's most recent video?
No,
No.
I
No.
don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
They're a really cool YouTuber philosopher bitch, and they're basically their most recent episode is titled "How Jordan Peterson's Suits Taught Me Fashion," and the idea is like fashion as a social language, and the idea that like fashion subcultures and like subcultures in general have changed fundamentally in the internet. It's like a whole thing. And the idea with them is they said it took me so long to understand how to dress myself because I wanted it to mean something. I wanted to participate in society because I've always had trouble connecting with other people, and that's why I got so into art, and that's why I wanted to understand fashion so much. And so this lens was the first like domino, so to speak, finding this person who said who is dunking on Jordan Peterson's terrible suits and like explaining why they're bad, and then like I sort of go down this philosophical rabbit hole and I realize, oh, I should be dressing myself like a musician because that is the social role I fulfill. Like saying like it's all subjective, do whatever you want forever didn't help me because I wanted my clothes to mean something. I wanted to speak the language of fashion and I couldn't. And so this connects to Zom 100 because
Yes.
it's the idea that like Tendo is speaking the language of being a good citizen in a lot of ways at the start of the show. And that's bad for him because he is surrounded by people who are twisting that language to manipulate him.
Okay. I kind of see the point that you're going for.
Yeah, I like that.
Actions are kind of like clothes, which are kind of like signifiers.
Zombies are kind of like clothes.
Well,
Everything
they
is
are
kind of
what
like
you
everything
eat.
else if you really think about it.
Oh,
It's all
you eat
one
clothes
big-
too?
My personality is clothes.
I kind of looked at
who's
the
to say?
show overall as, like I said earlier, like this work-life balance, right? And each thing that was getting introduced was a part of that balance. And so you have, overall, the show is enthusiastically, overwhelmingly so in favor of the life part, right? That it destroys its entire society to be like, you should live your life,
Mhm.
Akira, right? So that's what it's about. But it kind of quickly not quickly, I guess, but it slowly edges the other way too, to be like, well, no, we do need the work part, right? We do need to say like, hey, people actually like the whole part at the end of the series with Higurashi and his goons or whatever, right? All of those guys were like failures and, you know, upset with life because they didn't put in the work to do things to make their life fulfilling.
Which
to
is
make
another
that life
thing that gave me
fulfilling.
such bad vibes.
Yeah.
No,
kind of.
my little round robin topic is discussion was just gonna be like, let's talk about like the antagonist side of this little series, and like, so it's like
only one of them is good.
Well, I think just in general, to just hop back to this work-life thing, because that's what I was fixated on this entire time while I was watching the show. Like, what's her name? Shizuka. Shizuka is the opposite of Tendo, obviously, in the fact that she is the work side of their relationship. That's why they balance each other out so well. That's why they are the ship, right? Because he fits the life, she fits the work, right? He doesn't have to be this pragmatic survivalist to, you know, get anywhere in life, because he's now relying on, you know, this girl that he met, and she's making all the not big decisions, but she's like, hey, she's the not the compass, I guess, the guidepost to be like, hey, you know, like let's do this, let's like focus on this, let's be a little pragmatic about it. And he's like, all right, fine, like let's come on, you know. He
She is the
listens
thing
to her.
that tethers him when he otherwise would have just been floated off into space at this point.
Yes.
Yep.
I have so much to say about their relationship with each other.
They're fucking phenomenal foils.
It is too.
Oh, it's
we brought up One Piece earlier, right? Luffy and Nami. This is the dynamic, right? These are the threads and the parallels that we can make, right, between these
The
two
thing that
characters.
I thought was Sailor Moon and Sailor Mars, and then
Sure.
after that, Percy
Yes.
Jackson and Annabeth.
Yes,
That is accurate.
Yeah, honestly.
What were you gonna say, Tinnick?
Was I about to say anything?
Oh, I thought you said
I
something.
don't know.
Sorry.
Maybe I did want to say something at some point, and then like the conversation just went on and became irrelevant.
Sorry.
I guess if we're gonna continue talking about the episodes, then I think I'll say everything I have to say.
But what was I going to say? Because, the antagonists, that's one of the things that gives me the most bad vibes about this show, is that everything that happens to people is their own fault and a result of their own choices. It really gives the vibe that Akira could have just quit his job at any time and lived his, like, epic free life, and the zombie apocalypse is just a catalyst that gets him to do that. Like, because Kensho is straight up tells him, like, you should have quit that place long ago. Like, yeah, but you need money. You need to have money.
Yeah.
In Japan, you quit your job, you don't get another job. You need references. Like, they say, explain this gap in your resume, you better fucking explain that gap in your resume.
I think it also boils down to, which is something they didn't talk about in the show, but I think in a Japanese context, quitting your job is it's
like a taboo, right?
It's not necessarily a taboo, but it does negatively impact your career overall if you quit your job for, you know, even if it was the company's fault, it can come back to bite you in the ass if you do that.
And that's my understanding as an American man completely divorced from the situation. Like, I could be talking out of my ass right now. This is how I have come to understand Japanese work culture.
No.
To be
I totally get
fair,
what you're saying.
To be fair, though, that is very much a situation of, like, most people, from what I know in America at least in Minnesota, they want to be fired over just quitting, because firing means that you get, like, benefits
Severance
to, like,
and stuff like that.
you get severances and all of that, and it's a lot easier to say, yeah, I was just fired to the next person in a workspace, rather than I quit, because it's just like, oh, you have independence to yourself? I don't know if I like that for the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, every time that I've been asked in an interview, like, and why did you leave your last job? I've had the out of saying, I had to move, right? And, like, that's, like, an easy thing for people to be like, oh, okay, you had to move. There was something that happened that had nothing to do with you wanting to leave, so to speak. Like, you moved, but, like, it was, like, you moved locations, so you had to move jobs. Not like you left the job to get another job and you didn't move.
I've had to change up my resume because I have like not been accepted 2 jobs for that exact reason.
I think
because it was
I think it just works different in America, though. You know, I have been very fortunate to not have to work for a lot of my jobs. The one I'm currently working in, like, I didn't even have to interview for. A buddy got me in and said, "Hey, my friend wants a job," and they were like, "All right, you're hired," right? So like, I don't think it works like that in Japan. I think it's very stringent on rules and technicalities and all this stuff. So like, yeah, is it like, well, he could have just quit his job? Yes, obviously, but it
was also
it might have more negatively impacted him in the long run.
And it was especially like, it was his first job, like fresh out of college too. Like,
and also
he graduated from university
to his dad, right? So like, I think it's a multitude of factors to be like, well, I don't want to quit my job because they need me, quote unquote, they need me here, even though it's hellish and I don't want to be here. But also, this is the thing that I told my family I was going to do, and my dad is some shitty farmer out in the middle of nowhere, so I'll stick it to that guy because he's an asshole, and it just kind of all spirals out from there. Tendo's a complex character.
His stubbornness led him to this job in the first place, and then once he got into the cycle of it, he felt like he couldn't leave.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tendo's dynamic with almost every single character is something I could highlight and talk hours upon, and I will. Do not test me.
All right. So
I will join
So are
you.
we going? So like, before we can get to that, are we gonna talk about the rest of the villains? Because it's like, I'm seeing comments where most of the people are talking about that they only remember the manager in episode 6 being a villain.
What do you mean you only remember the manager? You don't remember Nega Tendo?
It really was. That's what I said. Anti-Akira.
Actually,
Yeah, you don't remember.
I do actually like that character a lot, but
the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, you don't remember the.
I actually do genuinely like Kanta.
The scene where he falls to his knees and he has the zombie side and the human side, and he cries both normal tears and blood was so awesome. It was so cool.
It
was a good shot. It was very good animation.
It was so over dramatic. It was the perfect amount where it didn't make me burst out laughing, but I was suppressing a giggle.
It was
I
on
love
the
edgy shit like that.
line for a zombie show.
Yeah.
It's where zombie media needs to be.
That's the thing I also love about this show. It really does feel like sometimes the zombies are a threat, and sometimes it's just like, it just revels in the cornball that is zombie tropes.
Yeah, sometimes the zombies are a threat, and sometimes they're a 2-legged shark.
It was 6 legs.
Yeah, you have to electro anime punch
running through the aquarium.
I fucking love that sentence.
Hell yeah!
I was about to say the fact that this show takes so much of because I've watched and played a lot of zombie media because it's such a popular genre. And the fact that they take all of those tropes and they manage to make new jokes out of it, and they still manage to put just as much emotion into it, like the scene when they meet the flight attendants, in the little abandoned shop, that's been done to death. I've seen every single piece of zombie media where it's little trapped a convenience store situation, done to death. But the fact that they make it about trying to romance these girls is funny as hell. It's such a I love that episode. It's such a good episode.
That's actually my least favorite episode, I think.
Even so,
it's not one of my favorites either, but it's still a good episode.
It was okay. It definitely felt like some of the lighting was drawn by a hentai artist at some points.
I mean, that is, as someone who doesn't really watch hentai, you're probably right.
What you're talking about.
Episode 4 was just weirdly gross.
Nah, it was fine. I mean, there's probably a video to be made about making women a point on your bucket list, and then having episode 4 be entirely about achieving the goal of woman.
Mhm.
But
And then not having the
I just
chain
meant
of it
more so
because
in
she's
terms
dead.
of like, I'm not saying it was like necessarily all executed great. I just like seeing like a subversion of zombie tropes when everything is very samey.
But yeah, nah, it was fine. Like, no, like episode 4 was fine. It was a good episode of anime. We'll say it that way.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable.
Oh, you're fine. I'm fine. I don't have anything salient to say about it because genuinely my brain was not there the entire episode. Like, I didn't clock it at all, which is strange to me that you clocked it and I did not. I'm not sure why it's strange to me that you clocked it and I did not. I think because I'm just used to being hypersensitive all of the time, and so like someone clocking something that I don't clock always feels weird.
No, like
Anyway.
I have just accepted that my brain is going to latch on to very random things, and somebody is going to tell me like, oh yeah, Zom 100, like just as an example, Zom 100 is a very individualist show. I'm like, wait, what? Meanwhile, I'm over here like, oh yeah, the main villain in episodes 9 through 12, that's Javert. He commits suicide by jumping into a pool. Like, because he can't accept being forgiven by Valjean.
Let's talk about the Suicide Squad.
Playing.
What do you guys say? Do you guys want to talk about the Suicide Squad?
I love the Suicide
those
Squad.
guys, those
the
bitches.
people with the fucking Death Note.
Yeah, it really. Okay, wait. This is important. Did to anyone else? Did this feel like a weird like? Suddenly, this is a shonen battle anime, and like they each have a notebook which signifies their power level.
It's become
It is very. It's like the shift happened, and I was like, "Damn, okay, I guess we're here now." It's like I'm very good at accepting shit.
Oh my gosh, I completely remembered a point that I wanted to make when it came to like the villains. Guys, the fat ugly bastard meter is fucking through the roof with yeah. So it's if you don't know what a fat ugly bastard is, I'm not gonna say it on stream. We're just gonna Google it.
I thought you said you didn't watch hentai. What is this?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I watched a video of someone talking about the trope before.
As did we all.
Shut the fuck up, okay? Don't you judge me for knowing that.
Wait. You watch other YouTubers?
So I bring up another YouTuber and you don't even get a little bit of an ours.
Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, that's because Jackson is ExPoint's favorite.
Yeah, I have low standards for you.
Yeah, I've been. I think Scrub is the only one here.
Conversation.
I've been here for 6 years, so it's like I understand. We're just there.
That's true. I haven't even clocked in one yet.
I have been referenced in a video while not being the person that is the Patreon call out, so I very much feel like I am the favorite. I'm kidding.
I think it was just very memorable how much we hated Watamote. Right?
You all know that.
Yeah.
So we meet this new troupe of zombie survivors who have their own death note and a penchant for French periodical literature.
So we have anti-Akira, who Akira was just like really nice in university and he was really shy and he got jealous and immediately decided that he was going to kill his fucking family.
Yeah, okay. I have a lot to say about Kanta and a lot of it is good. I just really, really want to point out the most important bit, like thematically, that really solidifies him as just like the anti-Akira.
Is the fact
that No, it's the fact that in the first episode, it does that fun thing where Akira breaks through the cinematic black bars when his world expands, and Kanta has those same bars, and it never breaks.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you're
I saw
right.
you guys talking about that in the Discord, and I was like, oh! that's one of those,
You're being
that's
cut
one of
out.
those details that my brain didn't notice because it was too busy thinking about Javert.
It's literally just like he is straight up. He's just the anti-Akira, and it's great, and I love it.
Okay, I will say
really-
though, with maybe I missed something about what's his name? They called him Higurashi. I don't know what they did in the dub, but
Kanta Higurashi is his name?
okay.
I guess.
Higurashi at one point says that Akira should have been like him, but never explains why. Like, what about Akira would make him like Higurashi that Higurashi would know about? Because he doesn't know about the like 3 years that Akira was working at the shitty company, right? So like, I don't know.
I think
honestly
it's
thought
Yeah.
the twist was going to be that Higurashi and Akira were up for the same job, and he got the job, and that's why Higarashi's life
That
got
would have
sucky.
been amazing.
That would have been cool.
Oh, that would
That would have been
Cool.
perfect.
Like he ended up. That's why he's like with this weird gang of people. Is like he ended up like poor or like on the because it's like when we see him like pre-zombie apocalypse before he meets these people, he's like sitting in his room watching shitty TV, smoking like fucking 2,000 cigarettes. And I'm like, damn, dude, like what the fuck happened to you? And then it's just like, oh, Akira just happened to be more social than him in fucking university. And it was like, wow, that's the reason? That's boring as shit. Like
So I think
instead
No,
it's
I
okay.
think the
idea
reason that he fixates on
Higurashi- sorry.
Akira. No, I got it. There's 6 of us. I think the reason that he fixates on Akira specifically is because Akira is like, no, there was something about. I think there's 2 things. Number one, he recognizes himself in Akira's laugh specifically. He hears him, he sees him behaving, acting up, being silly, and he sees someone who's being childish almost. Like he sees him and is like, only a small child would be that happy and this silly with their friends because you're not supposed to be like that. Like it's like the idea that the thing that he gave
wanted
up,
to be,
the happiness that he gave up
I
was
get
just
what you're saying.
being part of that group. So like he gets that, and then he fixates on Akira specifically because Akira is the one who says, "Would you like to come to lunch with us?" And it freaks him out really bad because like he felt so angry and jealous just 2 seconds ago, and then this guy who cannot see into his brain says, "Do you want to have lunch with us?" And he freaks the fuck out and he leaves. And he can't get Akira out of his head from that moment forward. And then he sees him again in the fucking zombie apocalypse, and he's just like,
It's. I actually can I add to that?
But I don't think I understand. You're saying he rejected the proposal to go eat with them just because he was jealous a second before.
yeah, your emotions do weird things to your decision making.
This is clearly not a mentally stable person, I'll also add.
Oh, definitely not.
Like, this is a school shooter, except he lives in Japan and can't get a gun.
So the thing I noticed is that despite all of his talks about how much society sucks, he is the one character most trapped by society and following society's rules. He is not you pointed this out, James, and it's very important that his source of happiness in this show essentially is going to the public pool with friends. And that is not a socially acceptable thing to do for him to just do in uni. He has to get a job. He has to find a romantic partner. He has to be the corporate stooge for the rest of his life. And he just wants to go to that pool. And he sees Akira, who is happy and having a great time and hanging out with friends, and he doesn't get it because that shouldn't be possible. Because if it's possible, that means he's doing something wrong.
Yep. Which,
And I think
bad
he
message for the show.
He makes this list of societal taboos that he wants to shatter, he wants to break. The only societal taboo he actually wants to... He understands in his soul, there is some societal taboo that is keeping me from being happy. And the societal taboo is just, you're too old for that. Like, that's it. That's the only one, but he doesn't know that. He can't see it. It's invisible to him for some reason.
Yep.
And then so he decides to make a list about how him and his new buddies are just gonna like literally destroy everything for the purposes of just being mad because they're like, and like it's kind of fun that ultimately the way that he like wants to like live out this happiness is to like the only way he could be happy is if he basically got to be a kid again, and him and all of his new buddies act so childish, which, you know, we move on to the rest of the Suicide Squad, which are literally all straw men for
it's weird
for
because
the author to fucking pwn in a Reddit argument.
It's so strange because they're all straw men for things. It's like, yeah, I also hate people who are bad husbands, but like, why did you need to make this?
Like, the only interesting one is the only one that could be like kind of interesting is the one that they decided to make the fat ugly bastard.
As,
the thing that Shizuka like
Japanese incel archetype.
Yeah.
The thing that Shizuka dresses him down for is like, you say you're just unlucky. This is, in fact, like, your misfortunes can be traced not necessarily to all of your actions, but to your attitude about like what you are owed by other people. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And like I that's the first time I've ever heard that theory, and it's a very interesting theory because I can see it in a lot of I can see it in like a lot of modern society, but the fact that like he lost a bunch of jobs because he was like because it's like, you know, he works at a French restaurant and they're like, hey, this is a job where we're like trying to present a certain thing, you need to learn how to speak French, and he's like, well, why can't they just speak Japanese just to me? And then he burns down the place because he flicks a lit cigarette into a garbage can. Like,
that's a bit much, yeah.
I don't understand why the people at the Italian restaurant have to speak Italian in the back.
Yeah,
but
I think it's because he was supposed to be waiting tables, and that he's not actually like I get he's probably a line cook, but it's still
also,
probably
how many people who go to the restaurant speak Italian?
I don't think the author really thought much about these characters.
Yeah.
Especially if you have an obviously Japanese man coming out to the front of the house speaking like Japanese accented Italian to you. Like that breaks immersion and makes it harder for me to order food. It's like, I understand that this isn't really a thing at Chinese buffets, but like here in nowhere, Kentucky, you go to a Chinese buffet and there's always like one or two white people working. If those white people were speaking to me in Chinese, or even if the Chinese owners were speaking to me in Chinese, I'd be like, yes, ni hao to you too. 3 days. Like,
I think it's a bit similar. Like, imagine if they were at like a pirate themed restaurant and it's like, hey, I need you to go to the mermaid table, and he's like, what? Can't you just tell me where it is?
Well, that would have been a better example, I think, if they had like a pirate themed like equivalent of a maid cafe that this guy was working at, and he refused to do the pirate accent. Like, if he was working at a Chuck E. Cheese or a TGI Fridays, and he didn't do like the corporate sponsored greeting.
He worked at the Rainforest Cafe, but he refused to give me my lava cake for my birthday.
He refused to refer to himself as what do they call the servers at Rainforest Cafe again? Safari guides or something?
I don't know. It's the Rainforest Cafe. We just tried not to look at it. We're sorry, Minnesota gave you it.
Look, I'm understanding all the stuff that you guys are saying, but I think what the point of it was just to show how careless he was.
Sure.
And he didn't get fired because he didn't want to speak French. He got fired because he burned down the building, right?
The point was made. I get it.
Yeah, he was careless about throwing a cigarette into a trash can, and that, you know, you know, I don't know. It's just more about that
I
to
really
me.
love how the
It
thing
like
that saved Shizuka in that moment. Oh wait, sorry, you were talking about the thing still.
it was definitely like the lesson is like because it was more so the fact that is like he wasn't willing to do anything to change himself in order to try and like better the environment around him. He's like,
Yes.
no, I'm a little baby man who like everything should go the way that I want it to. Is I think more so the lesson they were trying to give. And that was the only one that's like a little bit more complex than the other two.
Mm-hmm. Well, because they gave
What were you gonna
them
say,
a story
Jam?
that was more than just one line of them saying what their deal was.
I think,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
a
yeah.
yeah.
I think all of them are around the similar. It's all of them not wanting to put the work in to make themselves a better, like have a better experience in life, right?
Yep. Which is why Hiro Aka has a great cast of villains. Because it legitimately
Indeed.
is typically not their fault that they are on the outskirts of society. They are just trying to
honestly.
They are trying to find a group that accepts them. They have found their friends, and they just happen to be in this feedback loop of evil. Like, you understand, like, I made the entire video on Jeff's channel a couple of years ago about Twice, and how his mental state makes him vulnerable to falling in with a crowd like the League of Villains. And you have all of these
because he's having an existential crisis. Yeah.
You have all of these
Constantly.
who, for one reason or the other, find themselves unable to fit in with normal society, and they have all found themselves under the thumb of a manipulative man like Shigaraki who only wants revenge. Who is himself being manipulated by All For One, who only wants power. And that is how you write a group of anti-establishment villains like this. They are real people who have real reasons to think society is against them, not just to be against society. The people in Psalm 100 are stereotypes who, by their own...
They're straw men.
Yeah, they've made their own bed. They have not put the effort forward to become the kinds of people who can succeed in society, and for that reason, they have failed. They are on the outskirts, they are poor, they don't have the friends that they want, they don't even seem to like each other.
They don't.
Yeah, so they're just these, like, horribly downtrodden people because they have not taken the steps necessary to become uptrodden.
But I'm not sure. I think that goes for like the three of the side ones, but for Higurashi, the main guy, the Akira foil, I didn't feel that way. I felt like he did try to do everything that society said he should do, and it just didn't work. And he ended up in it, and that's
he
it.
ended up resentful.
Akira himself says,
Yes.
like, I can see myself becoming that person if I hadn't had that snapping moment of, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. Oh my god.
Yeah, I actually genuinely really enjoy when Akira just sees Kanta and it's just like, okay, yeah, we're pretty similar, but I'm still gonna win because I'm better.
Yeah. Can not to derail things too much, but can we go back to the idea that Jackson brought up that Kanta applied for the exact same job? Because
that concept.
That would be
That would have
insane.
been that would have been a really
that Higurashi getting rejected for the job that ruined Akira's life, and that rejection in turn ruins his own life because he doesn't know. Like, holy shit, man.
Oh my god. Like, he doesn't realize
Like,
that was a blessing in disguise. He's just, like, now hung up on the fact that, like, this job that I applied to.
Why does Akira, this naturally charismatic person who can make friends so easily, of course he gets the job. But I can't get the job. I can't get these things that I need to get in order to succeed because I don't have the natural proclivities that Mr. Akira has.
Bobo and chat literally robbing him of the
enjoyment of a comfy office job, of course.
Office job, yeah.
Comfy.
Now I'm just like a contractor who doesn't have like the protections that a cushy office job person who has a salary has. You know what I mean?
Or if he like got a job that like him and like a lot of like society in general would see as like demeaning, like doing like fast food work or something, where it's you're seen as like a fucking insect, like you're like even though you're doing this service for the community, arguably more than like most other like jobs that are like what Akira got, it's like you're seen as like this little demeaning insect that doesn't do much.
Sometimes you're a butterfly and people like you. This is said by me, someone who works in food service.
Yes, Akira.
No, that's valid.
But something that I really love about this show is that all the jobs suck. Like, you hear Kensho talking about his job. He's whining and dining politicians. Like, he meets with celebrities. He's just this big, I forget exactly what he does. Was it a real estate?
I think he's a realtor.
A real estate investor. Just making big financial deals with important people, going to clubs, like... And
he literally admitted he lied to people.
Yeah, no,
he's like, I hate my job.
Yeah.
I hate my job. I hate the person it's making me become.
Yep.
I hate the people that I'm around.
I miss my buddy Akira.
Akira has a cozy office job, quote unquote, and it sucks. It's the worst thing imaginable.
It's horrifying.
Like, speaking as somebody who has an incredible job, like, I work for myself. I make my own hours. I do what I want when I want. It's awful. Like, I have an executive function disorder, so it's not like this for every YouTuber. But God, there are some days when I sit down in front of my computer and I just think, how am I going to talk about cartoons? How am I going to watch cartoons for the next hour of my life? How am I going to force myself to do that? Just work as a concept sucks. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Like, and obviously I'm not trying to say that, my life is so hard. Like, I talk about cartoons on the internet for a living. I understand how privileged I am. But my point is just that the idea of work as a means of survival inherently sucks. And I think that this story really understands that.
Yeah. I think everybody can empathize with, even if like it's a job that everyone would want.
Of course,
like people on the outskirts would look at you and be like, of course I want your job.
And
it's
a great job.
But
something chaperone putting down boundaries.
Yeah. Like,
I also think it's one of the reasons why you have kept it going, though, is because you have had fulfillment outside of the job.
Sure, no job will ever be better than having $2 billion in the bank.
Well, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You will never
like,
be more fulfilled at a job than you will not having a job. Done. And this show understands that, which is great.
Yeah.
And I love that, like, one of the, not necessarily like an underlying theme, but just like the way that it's presented is like it definitely presents everyone's life in like the good and bad, where it's like it presents like the way that this person is good, but also like in the way that it's like they're like the way that they struggle in like their everyday life and like what that looks like to them. And like which is even as like early as like episode 2 when we meet Shizuka, and she's like, "Damn, I really wish that I got that little mochi. I bet it would taste great right now." Where it's like we see how they succeed, and we see like the ways in that like they kind of fail as people.
Yeah,
it's a very like uplifting thing because they are all people except for the Suicide Squad. But...
I just had a thought to counter myself a little bit. What about that sushi chef?
Oh God, that guy.
This is why I think the show's main theme is about having a work-life balance. Like, because it wants to stress the life part so emphatically and be like, our main character's whole thing is life, but the working part is important. And I think the sushi chef is probably the biggest touchstone of that, because he says, like, you know, I missed my daughter's wedding, you know, I missed my wife's something or other. I think his wife was dying or something like that. Like,
no, it was giving birth, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, something.
No, that was the Suicide Squad guy who he missed his wife.
Anniversary. I think it was an anniversary that he missed.
He missed every anniversary, I think he said.
Regardless, he missed a ton of life milestones, life events, but still, he finds so much importance and purpose in his work that when he has these strangers come to his shop and say, "This is the best thing I've ever eaten," he's like, it's all he cares about. You know what I mean? He puts in all of that work, and that has fulfilled him. It's the work that fulfilled him. So I think when we're talking about, everybody's like, "Oh, the jobs suck." It's like, yes, they do. And that's why it's like, oh, you have to find fulfillment outside of that. But this was his fulfillment, so I think both aspects of this are important.
The main thing that I saw of like clips of this was in one of Jeff's videos, and it was literally him talking about like anime is slowly starting to make its way more about individualism and like the ideas here. And I think the main thing that this show is like really trying to touch upon is the individual experience. Like how to like live your life as an individual and not necessarily for live your life as an individual that doesn't harm society without it being like, I don't know, it's like a hard balance, but it's definitely pretty individualistic.
I think that in itself is like almost right, because it is very individualistic, but by the end of the show, like they want to have jobs to benefit others. Kensho wants to be a comedian to make people smile, right? Because that will give him fulfillment, and he has the opportunity to help others by making them laugh, like Angie or whatever her name was, right?
I actually have
everything about the I just want to say everything about the farm community, I think kind of reinforces that. I think that's the point where like the show does show like this very kind of like affinity towards communalism in some general way.
I think it's being fulfilled and working hard in benefit of others will help the community. I think that's what the show is. Like, everybody will be fulfilled if we are all putting in the work together and being a community.
So I actually kind of disagree. I think the individualistic message throughout the show sticks throughout the show, and it doesn't suddenly like shift or change in some way when we get to the village. So in this show, being the individualist is what lets you survive. If you are treating this like a normal zombie film, if you're treating this like a sane person or just trying to help others, you will end up dying, because that is what the show constantly shows you. A lot of it is like those who survive are the ones looking out for themselves, and that includes both the good and the bad. And with the farming, or the village community, it is showing two groups. One that came here for individualistic reasons, for Akira to just see his family, and decided on their own to just start helping people. They weren't forced into it, they just decided to do that. And then they're fighting people who live by those same individualistic rules, but exclusively for themselves.
So I would like to counter with another point that was made by the show earlier, when Tendo wants to be a superhero. Because the whole point of episode 5, I think, when he fights the big zombie shark, is because like Shizuka basically condemns him and is like, well, you're only being a hero because it'll make you feel good, blah blah blah, this and that. But then in an act of true selfless compassion, he goes back to save her out of nothing, just because and he says it, he's like, I don't have to have a reason to want to help somebody. So I think saying like, trying to help others is going to get you killed in this, the show shows us that that's not the case.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely.
Well, I'm saying like that is of itself. He says, I decided to help you. It was like, it was me.
It was his decision.
It was my decision. Whereas like in episode 3, there's the host club that's helping people out. in a sense, they're just
the pretty boys.
The coolest
Yeah.
thing that never gets mentioned again.
yeah, it's anime
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
There's one frame
Oh, is it?
at the very last episode where it's just that one guy and the girl who he promised he would return. Like
They're
it's
on
like
the train
child.
tracks.
They're on the train tracks. It's
Oh,
really
it's so cute.
It's very cute, but it's
Yeah, I did not get that.
it's yeah, the club is there protecting people. I mean, we don't know the reasons why they're doing this, so maybe I am 1000% wrong. But to me, because it's just like this feels like it is a survival group, because like that is what you do in a zombie apocalypse. You just survive together. Whereas Akira is in Shinjuku because he wants to just hang out with a friend. He doesn't want to save Kensho. He doesn't know where Kensho is. He just wants to hang out.
Well, I think that might also, because that stuff, like you said, is anime only. So, like, that wasn't part of the original source material, you know what I mean? So I don't think the show, if anything, you might be getting, like, a weird vibe from the adaptation itself, not Zom 100 as a whole.
Well, remind me to go back to episode 3, because I forgot about it, and it was probably my favorite idea that was actually in the show. Second only to Higurashi applied for the same job. But, counterpoint
I honestly thought they
counterpoint
existed.
to Scrub is why I started talking. Episode 7, Truck Stop of the Dead.
Truck Stop of the Dead.
Episode 7 has a person who's working exclusively for his own means, for his own reasons, taking advantage of a bunch of people to form his own perfect settlement and enrich himself. Those people form a union and quit.
Ha!
And this is portrayed as the ultimate good thing.
Yeah.
Well, wait,
And
are you
it's
saying
like-
that as a description of what happened or what should have happened?
Yes.
That is what happened.
It is what literally happened.
I'm not sure I really agree with that. Isn't it more like Akira's displays kind of encourage everyone
To form
or
a
I guess
union
even
and
more
quit.
than Akira's.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you really want to call it that.
Well, they all acknowledge we have a terrible boss who is not treating us fairly. He is putting us to work far too hard for no real benefit to us. We are not going to work for him anymore, and we're all going to quit at once.
Yeah.
They form a union and quit.
Yeah.
But they don't need a union. They just leave because they always could leave. But okay, I mean.
But they leave together.
Yeah, they leave.
They
You
take
see at the end-
collective action against their employer and quit.
That's functionally forming a
That's forming a union.
I feel like we're getting into semantics.
I mean, they literally do open a restaurant at the end. We see that.
Sure.
oh
but
yeah.
This is
They have a little like it's like
You're
some kind of
right.
camping picnic area, and it's just like that's so cute.
But this is a counterpoint to
Oh my
Scrub,
God.
because Scrub is the one saying that the individualist messages of this show are consistent and in the spotlight the entire time, when it seems to get completely flipped on its head when we get the manager back. Is that, these people are inspired by what Tendo does, or by what, I forget the woman's name, Shizuka. By what Shizuka encourages Tendo to do. But they, together, have the power to tell their boss to fuck off.
We are the
race.
proletariat.
Maybe everyone's.
Yeah, Jim?
Okay, so I think we can synthesize these things. So the idea of the show, it starts with the seed of Tendo is the main character. He realizes there is value in life beyond beyond sacrificing your mind, body, and soul to a company. But the only way he can do that is through like some big noticeable thing, something else has to intervene in his life for him to finally snap out of this mode. And the thing that intervenes just happens to be the zombie apocalypse. And it's like what's happening throughout the show is that Tendo is rebuilding his soul back, essentially. Like he's rebuilding himself to be a person again. And so that's why the first few episodes are so individualistic, because he can't do anything beyond I need to I need to indulge myself and take a day where I just day drink. I need to like just be pleasant to people, of course, because that's nice to be pleasant to people. But I want to just like fuck around and find out, essentially. Fuck it, we ball. Constantly, fuck it, we ball. And it takes that first turn in episode 4 of, okay, you have your basis, you got your roots in. Now, how are you going to push out of the soil? How are you going to grow? How are you going to grow? How are you going to grow? And the idea is that by growing, he is interlacing himself in the lives of other people, because you can't live by yourself. You just can't. It's not possible. And so like the thing with the treehouse was really beautiful to me. Like the thing in the treehouse in episode 9, where they build that treehouse with him, and he tells him this like profound advice, and Tendo sits there and he thinks about it, and he's like, yeah, okay, so would I actually be able to just hear the voice of the whole world if I let myself be part of the entire world in the way that like one tree is part of an entire forest? Mm-hmm. That's so amazing. That's so cool. It becomes this profound, sublime, borderline like spiritual thing. Like it's like it starts in physical, I am a human animal who wants to fucking get that dopamine. I want to have that dopamine adrenaline rush of running from these fucking zombies, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then it keeps going into higher and higher states of priority almost.
Mm-hmm. It's like that bell curve of enlightenment where like the least enlightened person says, I need to work for society because that's what's good for me. And then the medium enlightened person says, I need to do what's good for me because that's what's good for me. And then the most enlightened person says, I need to do what's good for society because that's what's good for me.
I could not have said it better myself, because I was literally about to make the point that it was a journey, but I was going to present it in kind of a comical way, because I was going to be like, not to be the guy that says everyone is right in this situation.
We're all varying levels of right and wrong.
Yeah,
but
time is a flat
But
circle.
honestly, Jams, I don't think I could have said it better myself.
No, well done.
Yay!
Guys, the show is so good.
Mm-hmm. No,
this show is so fucking good.
This is the kind of presentation in a show that I really like, because it's direct, right? It doesn't hide everything under like 100 layers of metaphor, which I love that too. But this is my favorite kind of presentation. It's unabashedly literary. It's not trying to make things super realistic, because we have 3 people with the same fucking notebook as a metaphor, as a direct symbol for exactly what they believe.
Who is the third?
It's a metaphor.
Shizuka had a notebook.
Shizuka had
she had a spreadsheet.
Oh, right.
100 most important things to do to keep from becoming a zombie. Like, they have the same notebook with the same shit on the front for different thematic reasons. I love that.
So that's when I thought it was a shonen anime. When she also pulled out a notebook, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, like I said, it's Zatch Bell.
Yeah.
They all have their magic notebooks.
That was in like episode 2 though, so like early on, I don't know. I feel like everybody should have just we should have known what we were getting into.
Yeah, Kensho comes out like, this is my list of 100 funniest jokes about zombies.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Oh, hold on. The thing about Kensho, suddenly it bonked against, I remembered a note that I wrote of how Kensho adding himself to Tendo's bucket list almost feels like an act of devotion, like, to him. Like, it's like, I'm adding myself to this bucket list, and I'm saying, I am part of your life forever now. I am yours. You are mine.
He is the Zoro to Tendo's Luffy.
While we're talking about the list itself, can I just talk about how damn stupid it is? Like, the last shot we get of the list is people adding, like, 50 things to those 2 pages. It's a notebook.
Yeah.
Just turn the page, guys! Y'all are silly.
It won't look cool otherwise.
I know, but it looks
It doesn't make as good of a shot.
Those pages are sent to mentors.
We can give it up with the round robin thing.
Yeah, sorry. Tenek, it's your turn. What do you want to talk about?
Actually, this is something I don't often feel for fictional characters, so it kind of surprised me to see it in a show like this. Oh, no, I mean, actually, it's kind of the opposite. I really admire Akira, everything he does in, like, episode 7 or 8, when the whole, I guess, camp arc is finishing. because I mean that's really everything the manager does in those 2 episodes. Like really made me feel like personal hate for him. Like I wanted to see someone bash that guy's head in with a baseball bat, or at least let him get eaten by zombies. Like something just incredibly cruel thoughts like that. And like Akira is just, I guess, such a pure protagonist that he has compassion for everyone, including his incredibly shitty manager who has been bullying him for over 3 years.
Yeah, he
And
goes
that's
like,
that connects back to Higurashi.
oh yeah,
That connects back to Higurashi because it's like that is the mature thing to do in that situation.
I actually want to just I just want to point out something real quick. Going off of like what Tenic said, I legitimately felt like Akira just apologizing to everything his manager said, just like, I'm sorry. Felt like it was way more cathartic than just like telling him off. Like you could, like, Akira could have just like ripped this man apart, but him just going like, yep, that sucks, well, I gotta go.
Sorry, dude,
So
I'm leaving.
good.
I don't think about you at all energy.
Ooh, yeah. It's like, okay, that's another thing.
I did all this for you. Yeah, I'm sorry. What do you want me to say?
Earlier in the episode, he's just constantly saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Like whenever he does anything, like when he says I'm sorry, he means please don't hurt me. But here, when he says I'm sorry, he's saying sorry, bye.
Well, he is also legitimately saying, like, yeah, I understand this inconveniences you, and I do apologize for that. But my list of priorities has changed, where your priorities are no longer above mine. It's the same deal as when he's talking to the CEO in episode 1 before he pushes him out the damn window. Like, that very cathartic from the gut, like, thank you so much for these opportunities you have given me, sir, and I understand that this is going to be inconvenient, but I will have to be quitting my job. I understand this is very selfish of me, sir, he says.
And it's like, that is really cathartic, because it's like, it's so much more than like, yeah, fuck you, you were an asshole, I'm gonna leave. And it's like, I've had my work partner literally says, I've told people that before, and I regret saying it because it was really immature to do. And like, regardless, and it goes back to like acknowledging the good and bad and everything, because regardless of the way that Akira was treated, which is shit, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's not shit. It's just him being like, well, I got experience here, so it's like, I'm gonna like acknowledge the good things when you leave something. It is, oh my gosh. I did love that scene, especially, I love that they set up that Akira plays rugby really early so he could do a lot of football tackles.
Oh yeah, I loved that. I loved him
superhero.
being a jock. There was something about that. It was really refreshing because in anime, most of the time the protagonists are fucking nerds. And I'm a fucking nerd, but I love to watch jocks.
Yep. Everyone says Higurashi, and I hear Shigaraki every time.
Yeah, honestly, I think that was intentional.
Yeah?
That's why I've been saying Kanta.
Yeah.
Nah, keep it coming.
No. And that's why it goes back to Kanta, because he, like, I love that they decided to show that, like, the two nerds are still also, like, incredibly smart. Or, not the two nerds, the two jocks are also incredibly smart. And then the people that are, like, actually nerds, like, aren't actually all that smart.
Hold on, where are we connecting this?
Because it's like, they show that, Akira and, why am I blonde dude?
Kensho?
Why am I blanking on his
Kensho.
name? Kensho, yeah.
Kensho.
They show them as like they're both like they both graduated college and got really good jobs, but they also were like very like bro and jock minded. In like most shows, that's like they're the geeky ones. They're like the kind of stupid ones that don't really think much. But like in this case, the kind of like more introverted nerdy ones, which are usually the protagonists, are Kanta and his fucking little like, at least one, I think the big dude, in the little Suicide Squad gang. Like seem like they're more like introspective nerds, but they're really not all that smart.
I think it's only Higurashi who's presented that way, really. Maybe you can make a stretch and say that the stick up the ass office lady is, but
I guess.
Also, can we? I had a really stupid nitpick about the office lady because she was fighting Beatrix with who had like swords and like spears with a hedge trimmer.
I thought it was a chainsaw.
Yeah, I thought it was...
I'm pretty sure it was a chainsaw.
Chainsaw, which is a hedge
not.
trimmer.
I worked as a landscaper for a while. That's a hedge trimmer, and I don't know how to tell you this. That's not how they work.
It's not? How do they work?
The fact that hedge trimmer even snapped the bar, like the wooden bar of her spear in half, I was like, all right, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The hedge trimmer.
The author saw a hedge trimmer and they went, that looks gnarly. I wonder what kind of shit it can do.
If it was a chainsaw, I would have maybe given it a pass, but like the fact that like the blade itself would have jammed the hedge trimmer immediately and not been able to move. They can't cut through anything more than like 3 to 4 inches long unless they're really grinding at it.
I have the solution for you.
Okay.
That's not a real Japanese spear. Beatrix got it from Amazon.
Beatrix got it from a museum gift shop.
It's still metal though,
yeah.
right? Like you
It's
saw.
still metal
Can we
at the
talk
end,
about
though.
real quick?
She slices shit.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it from Amazon Prime.
Can we talk about real quick that we have a Weeb character that like actually knows stuff about Japanese history and isn't like presented as like some fucking weirdo? Like that does it like they just like anime but pretend like they
some fucking weirdo.
Yeah, she is.
Right, but
I like how much everyone is just like a little bit insane.
Yeah. How do we feel about Beatrix?
Tenek?
I like her.
She's pretty funny.
I think she needs a bra that fits her, or else she's gonna have back problems.
Yeah.
Tenek, what were you saying?
Yeah.
I wanted to say, especially to Tom, because I don't think like anime in general have weeb characters. Like foreigner characters are already rare enough, and I don't feel like I can't remember any other character from a show I've seen that like would be a weeaboo the way Beatrix is.
Under Ninja had
I was about to say my few experiences seeing like media that has like weeb characters is they're usually presented like they don't actually know what they're talking about. They just like see anime and think that it's real.
Yeah, well,
but
we
the fact
don't
that
usually
Beatrix,
know what we're
like...
talking about, right?
I'm
not alone
guess.
in this. Like
Beatrix is a very small
you're right.
percentage.
See, here's the thing: I would not call Beatrix a weeaboo.
No,
I would call her an otaku. She is a Japanese.
She
is a Japanese history buff. She's not into anime that we know of, except insofar as anime is a part of Japanese culture.
Like it started as like her watching anime, and then it evolved. I think, or was it her watching anime, or was she watching like she was like watching nature documentaries or something?
She was watching a documentary on the television. Like we don't see pictures of like anime things when we see the flashback. We see just these flashes of here's Mount Fuji, here's sushi being prepared, here is a festival that like is a real thing that definitely happens. Like you know what I mean? Like she's seeing it and her eyes sparkle, her entire body like lights up like this like 10-year-old version of Beatrice like lights up seeing this while she's eating her giant pretzel. She's so silly. And like
Scrub, you're the one that brought it up. Do you have like specific opinions on Beatrice?
I think I said it best when I was quoting Jello Apocalypse that Beatrix kind of feels like the author looked at Kensho as a comedy side character and decided to make a comedy-er, sideier character.
Oh, she's the Scrappy Doo of the group?
No, she's what's it called again? Scooby-Dum.
Okay, I guess
she's the Scooby-Dum.
I guess when we get other new party members, it doesn't help that I like the new party members consistently more than Beatrix.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I
but
do not
they're
like
odd.
Beatrix at all.
Really?
Why?
Yep.
I think she's fine. She's fine. She's pleasant. I like the way she talks. It's very cute. I think Beatrix is cute. I just don't think there's a whole lot there.
Yes,
don't
that's
I
why
just
I
like
don't
her
She
as
doesn't really
a
add anything.
donut next to 2 main courses and a really solid side dish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And I'm
is the
trying
best
to
way
That
to
is-
cut
describe
her
it.
out of my diet is the thing. So I'm sitting here like,
That
"Oh,
is-
that's a sickening amount of sweetness that we're getting here."
I have a giant sweet tooth, so I just adore her.
Yeah, like again, we said it before, but it's like, if Beatrix was just a one-off character like the sushi man who hates his family, then then like I think she would probably be like my
Fine.
favorite one-off character, but as a
I
main
think
character,
the main
she
reason
doesn't have a whole lot.
I think the main reason she's introduced is because the writer realized that they didn't have anybody in the party that was very good at combat, so they needed to have somebody in there that could actually like fight in terms of like that could actually fight.
But that's why we got
I'm gonna
Aki
be-
Ranger.
I'm gonna be real. I think they just needed another girl. I think that was the problem. I think
I
they were
think
like,
the author
"We
likes
need more
boobs.
girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be.
Also,
I think
so
all of those are fine.
PSA for anyone in the chat who has considerable tracts of land, your cup size is the difference between the measurement around your rib cage and the measurement around the largest point of your bust line. So, for instance, if your rib cage is 36 inches and your bust is 38 inches, you are a B cup.
Thank
Just
you.
wanted to point that out.
I'm sure that people came to the Zom 100 stream for that.
I'm
How
sure
Now I
there's
know I
more
have a
girls-
B-cup.
I'm sure there are
Of the 18
I'm
people
sure-
currently watching this stream, I'm sure that one of them needs to know their bust size, and that they are going
I'm
to
sure-
go and measure themselves right now.
I'm sure
put
there
it
are
on their
more
bucket
women
list.
in this chat. Just in this chat, not even in the call. I'm sure that there are more women in this chat than just Mariah. I'm
Sure, but do they not
100%
know
sure
their
of
bust
that.
size?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, we got Mariah, we got
I
Scrubbin, we
don't
got
think Mariah's in the
not
chat.
Jams.
I think she only popped
She
in
was.
to say, "Hey, I heard my name. What's going on?" And I think she's gonna do it again. Anyway, I love having you in this chat so much, Jams.
Yay!
Yeah, no,
let's-
I like this new group of people. You guys are all really fun.
Let's keep going round robin. Scrub, yeah, what I tell you.
Mariah's been summoned.
Scrub, what would you like to use as your foundational point of discussion?
So I kind of just really want to talk about Akira and Shizuka's like dynamic relationship and all that.
Ooh, yes.
I adore everything about. Well, obviously, as it's already been stated, they are very much opposites. Whereas one is playing this like they fucking their religion is the zombie survival handbook,
Mm-hmm.
and
By
the
Max
other
Brooks.
one is singing about beer.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
just the constant back and forth this show does, where Akira will do something that changes the way Shizuku thinks. In turn, Shizuku will say something because she has changed that helps Akira like change as well, and they just become this Jenga block of like character growth, and it's amazing.
They are their own
Mhm.
positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And just like episode 5 definitely demonstrates this the most, with Akira doing something really stupid, and because Akira's doing something stupid, Shizuka points out that's like, hey, you're endangering people by doing this. And Akira, like, Kensha is obviously just like a brick wall of a man who I love, so he doesn't really get it, but Akira's like, no, wait, she's got a point. And so he thinks on it, grows as a person, and in turn, that's what saves Shizuka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like-
Yeah,
Wait,
I
what
didn't
That's a
really
good
are you
point.
talking about?
I didn't really think about it like that, but the idea that it's not just each of them rubs off on each other, but Sorry, I need to think about my phrasing very carefully after that. But the fact that the changes they make to each other are what allows each of them to keep changing in turn is a lot more interesting than just learning one thing from each other. Very good writing there.
Rob, what episode were you talking about as the example? Like the main
Episode
example?
5.
The one with the shark.
The shark one? Yeah.
With playing at superhero. Also, just as a side tangent, I said it before again in the Discord, but like going after a shark suit just proved to me that the author absolutely read like the zombie survival handbook, because that is like the biggest takeaway that book has. Is like, get a shark suit if zombies are real.
Is that really a thing?
Yeah, it won't protect your bones, but it'll protect you from getting infected.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know there was a specific zombie survival guide.
By Max
No,
Brooks.
yeah, it was like really old. It's like 2 decades old or something, but it's like
The author of
Oh,
World
wow.
War Z.
Yeah, that's it.
The author? Oh, damn.
What do you mean? Yeah, the author of World War Z. There was only one.
I don't know. I
don't understand.
I don't know either. Sometimes I just say words in a certain pattern.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was
Max
basically
Brooks.
just like, hey, have short hair, get a bicycle, machetes
hair
are your
short,
best
kid.
friends.
Yeah.
I think to talk a little more about fucking Shizuka and Akira's relationship, I have multiple paragraphs in the notes section of the fucking Discord about how like their relationship is like foundationally about being a little bit the same, but being opposite ends of the same axis. So they're essentially like they're like sort of like they're like gravitating towards one another as if their gravity is like doing a weird like push and pull, like a tide kind of thing. I didn't say this in the chat, the tide thing, but the point is that like it's like so the differences in their characters reveal so much about the thematic bent of the show in this way that I really adore, because God, hold on. I can do this. Because she's so utilitarian all of the time, and he is so not that. He was never utilitarian, because like the utilitarian decision for him to have made when he realized his company was exploitative was to go, okay, immediately I am looking for a new job. I am like somehow going to put out feelers. I am going to do something to get myself out of this job. And I'm going to say, I've been offered a position at a different location, so I'm going to transfer my employee from here to there. If you would, if you would allow me, like, you know, that would be the utilitarian thing to have done. And he never did that. What?
Can I interrupt real quick? Just because utilitarian means the benefit of the group.
Really?
Yeah. Utilitarianism is about the benefit of the group or society.
Well, you're right. You're right.
But in this context, it does just concern Akira, so it doesn't.
Thematic is
so okay.
also
pragmatic.
Right. Utilitarian, as in utilitarianism, John Stuart Mill's philosophy. That does mean for the benefit of the group, getting the most good out of the least effort. But utilitarian also means like getting the most just good out of the least effort in general, like the most use of a thing.
The most like
separated
efficient.
From philosophical jargon.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Utilitarian in this case can mean like just getting benefit from action.
Yeah. I'll just switch to pragmatic.
Sure,
so like he's so unpragmatic as a person, both before and after the moment where his brain goes, I'm no longer in crisis mode constantly. It's like, however, Shizuka enters crisis mode when the zombie apocalypse happens, and she has always been she's always been pragmatic because she had to be pragmatic about herself and what she did and her life and her soul, because she grew up in an environment where like it was either follow this man's directions or make your own life incredibly fucking miserable.
She grew up
when it's already miserable.
She grew up with an exploitative company as a father.
God damn right.
Literally.
No,
Shizuka's decision.
It's so good.
Shizuka's
sorry.
decision to like be the person, like Shizuka's decision to say, okay, I have to follow his directions if I'm going to survive. It sort of reminds me of a decision that I made as a kindergartner, where I talked to these 2 third graders and I said, wow, you're in the 3rd grade. Does that mean you're going to high school next year? Because I was a kindergartner. And they essentially laid out how long school lasts. And I had this moment, this profound moment of, oh, if I don't like school, if I don't make myself like this thing, if I don't somehow make this bearable for myself, I am going to be miserable for an inconceivable amount of time. Because 12 years was longer than I had been alive, and that was the amount of time I was staring down.
Yep.
And so, like, I just realized as a kindergartner, I was like, I have to find ways to make this enjoyable and bearable. I have to connect the things that I am learning right now to other things that I already like, et cetera, et cetera. Like, when I was a kindergartner, I wanted to be Hannah Montana. And so I essentially... I was like, okay, I started with English and I worked my way out from English into how do I make every subject interesting, right? And that's how I got good at school. And so in that same way, Shizuka said, I need to make decisions based on the decisions that my dad wants me to make. However, we see that she did still keep reading about doctor shit and she retained that information because that's what she cared about, you know? And it's like, in that same way, like, she keeps remembering her dream, but she keeps it very hidden. Meanwhile, Akira has forgotten it because he can't, like, he's like so emotional about shit all of the time. And it's really interesting and cool how they bounce off of each other in that axis of emotional decision making versus logical decision making, where, like, you know, he says, like, I don't need a reason to want to save you. But the reason is technically the emotional reason of, I care about this person, I care about people in general, and I don't want to see anyone eaten by a zombie, but especially her, because she saved me, and she's, like, so cool and interesting, and she's made me think about stuff, and I want her to keep existing, even if it's not necessarily directly in my life. And that's, like, another fun thing is that, like his wants, he's so in tune with what he wants, and she is so in tune with what other people want because she has to be. And it's just another fascinating axis of their relationship.
Yeah, I like it.
I like the television program.
Yeah, it is really good. I like the way you broke it down.
Yay!
On a completely different axis of talking about Shizuka and Akira's relationship, I love her little guitar flourish whenever it's just a close-up on her face. Like the... Like, it's so just on the nose as a theme song. Like, it's almost jarring. It almost breaks the suspension of disbelief for a second, but in a way that tickles my brain right.
I'm sorry, what part are we talking about?
Just the soundtrack, that her theme song.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the opening for a second. I was like, what?
No, of course
Jackson,
not. I would never talk about that.
Yeah, my bad.
What'd you say, Tenek?
There was some feedback audio coming from Jackson.
It's true.
Yeah.
Is he still there?
Jackson?
I think he's still alive.
What's up? Sorry.
There was some audio
feedback?
Oh, there you go.
coming from you.
Life or death?
My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
here,
right.
well, I'm gonna quit out of the call real quick and hop back in
Oh, it's fixed
Okay.
because
now.
I'm having that issue again. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it sounds fine for now at least.
Okay.
I'm not sure you have
Jams,
to.
you're up. Pick a topic.
Oh, I'm up. Okay. So this is going to sound a little weird, but like, I want to talk about the disparate details about shit. Like, just the amount of attention and detail that this fucking show has is insane. And the way that it, like, coheres to itself and each other, it, like, everything is, like, interconnected. It's like, for instance, I picked a favorite background character in episode 5, right? And it showed me how much shot continuity is going on. It showed me how everyone's body language reflects the moment. Like, it's not just like the background characters are here, they're filling space. Most of them are in the same pose. No, like all of them are like different body language, different character designs. The character designs are consistent and they keep the same. And then at the last episode, I was so fucking happy to see my favorite background character again in the little denouement that they did.
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you always mentioning this background character in the Discord, and I just love.
But
I saw one message from you where you're like, "I'm glad to see this guy made it out of the sharkening."
wait, so it's just some character who was in the shark episode? Like that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
their full
this is-
identity.
They've got this fluffy little bowl cut and big round goggly glasses
Yeah.
and like a purple jacket, and I'm starting to realize part of the reason that I glommed onto this character is because little bits of their design actually remind me of my partner, and I'm like, dang it.
This is
I
why-
am so simple. I am so easy.
Or like the guy that works for the manager that is literally the one he's like already trying to like incite a revolution a little bit. He's like, man, you never notice how the boss just takes all the good shit for himself and he kind of like just lets us like he kind of gives us what he feels like we've earned, and the other guy's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah.
You're gonna get us in trouble. Like, yeah, like background characters, it's very attentive. I do like it.
And then also this detail that I noticed the first 3 or 4 times I watched the first episode, because I watched the first episode of this show 5 times. I've watched it in total 5 times over the course of since it's been out.
Mhm.
And I noticed in the beginning of the zombie apocalypse, like when the part of the episode where that fucking music is happening. So I don't know why I got so into that
no.
word.
Bye,
Like-
Jackson.
Oh,
Sorry,
goodbye.
just wanted to reset my mic.
Hooray! But it's like the moment where like the like the hummy music sort of crescendos, and he's about to go downstairs and realize the zombie apocalypse is happening. He pulls on one of his socks, but not the other. And this is a detail that stays fucking consistent through the rest of the episode. You can see on his ankles one of his socks is on, one of them is off. The rest of the episode.
Mhm.
That's insane attention to detail.
Is it?
Yes,
Uh,
it is.
Well, it is. You're right, but I don't feel like it's the kind of thing that people would forget to animate, because just the very fact that you're showing a scene of him putting on one sock and not the other sock means that that's something that the director is paying attention to. So the director is going to go through every frame and be like, he's got one sock off, right? If not the director, then the director's going to tell somebody to do that.
Wait, what
yeah.
episode is
Somebody
this?
is going to notice if the sock thing is wrong. Because that's not something that you animate unless you're going to make it a thing. But no, you're right. The fact that they put these kinds of details in there is excellent.
What episode is this?
One.
Yeah,
Episode
it's
1.
first episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's also like the bars thing, of course, it is a detail that goes through the entire show. The idea that these bars like mean they specifically mean that like something is missing. Like that's what the bars mean. The bars mean something is missing. There's something wrong. So like whenever Akira is remembering back to the moment with his dad, it's in bars because he feels something lacking with his relationship with his dad, and he doesn't know what it is. And like Shizuka's memories actually are in 3.4 aspect ratio, which is so cool that they have different aspect ratios. Like that's insane. Akira's is in widescreen, but hers is in 3.4 because like it's like a CRT TV set sort of thing because she's a baby. Does that make sense?
It does, and I didn't notice it while I was watching, personally.
Oh my gosh, I noticed it immediately.
I
so
noticed that
good.
the aspect ratio changed, obviously.
Ah.
But I didn't notice that it was different.
Yeah, no, I don't think I clocked that either.
It's just, I think it's
No, I'm trying to
so
think of any
cool.
little detail
How
that
many?
really got to me in this show.
I can think of a little detail and a lottle detail.
Yeah?
Oh, really?
I mean, it's more story based, but I just love the little detail of, and this was in the manga. This was like a 0.5 chapter, showing the Kosakas alive, because
Oh,
it's just the story idea of like the author realizing it's like, well, it doesn't matter if they're alive or not, because like if they died back then they were complicit and like just believing in society, and they would have died based on the merits of the show at the time. And if they left, they were engaging in the themes of individuality of the show, so they would have been fine. And so the only thing that mattered was that they were gone. It didn't matter if they died or if they left. It was Akira seeing that they were just gone from his life was what mattered. So the author just said, "Fuck it, they're alive."
I love that. I love fucking Mr. Kosako with the big sign, and then Mrs. Kosako with like the other sign, but it's a shield. That's so cute.
He has a little pilot hat because apparently in the
Who are the Kosakas? Like,
they were his neighbors in episode 2 when he was climbing down the banister.
Right?
Was it? No, it was episode 2.
Right, it was 2.
Yeah, and apparently in the manga they went a little more detail that he's wearing a little pilot's hat because Mr. Kosaka was an airplane pilot, and now they had their own list of going to different countries to visit.
Well, that's cool.
Oh, I love that. That's adorable.
And also, I just kind of want to bring up the Lottle thing of nowhere in the manga did they say they had to make multicolored blood, but I'm so glad they did.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know if I'm the only one who thought, I cannot be the only one who thought, would it not be interesting if the multicolored blood thing was actually a little bit of psychosis on Tendo's part? I think it's only good as a, wouldn't that be interesting if, and not actually, they should never confirm or deny this.
I think it was censoring. And they just to like make it, because of the idea of the show is so like positive, that I think if they tried to make the blood more realistic, I think it would have like taken away from that.
Oh yeah. Only humans are allowed to bleed.
I really love how
are allowed to bleed, you're right.
Oh yeah! Damn.
Aren't you?
Fuck.
I say you're right because I love that idea so much. I would have to watch it again to make sure that's true.
We never see an animal bleed.
Well, do we ever see a zombie bleed? And I don't think so.
No, yeah.
They burst into colors, but that's
into
different.
Colors.
Yeah. It's like, another thing is that like...
I think that's right.
I can't
at the
think
beginning...
of anything that disputes it.
No, I can't either. I'm racking my brain right now. I can't think
of anything.
What
I really want to check is Higurashi. I want to see what his blood looks like as he's turning into a zombie.
It is red. It is red.
I think
it's red.
Well, that's thematic.
Yeah.
Because then he's a real person. He's been forgiven by Valshan.
He's a real boy now! He's a real boy as he is turning into a zombie. Oh god.
Now
anyway, so
if I learn how to do it, I want to make an edit of the final thing with Higurashi with the Russell Crowe song from the Les Mis movie.
Horrible.
And the splat sound effect. Yeah.
I am reaching, but I fall.
Hey guys, I think ExPoint likes Les Mis. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh my goodness.
This is completely unrelated to anything, but when I was in France, I went to the library and I got a copy of Les Mis because like, okay, I'm here in France. I'm going to read this book. I'm going to be here a while. It's my favorite book. I'm going to do my best. So I go to the librarian with my giant tome, and it's like a 200-person village. Everybody knows who I am. I'm the American. And the guy looks at me. He's like, "You sure, dude?" Like, yes, please just give me the book. I didn't read it.
You didn't read?
I got like 2 chapters in, and I'm like, this is a great book. I'm gonna finish this someday, and I put it on my shelf and never again.
God damn, yeah.
That's great. I love that.
All
Yeah.
right, let's get to Tom.
Well, James, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, sorry.
The one last thing I wanted to say is that I really like one last detail from the first episode that I really like is the fact that like when he starts seeing the zombie thing, it starts out red, then it goes RGB, then it keeps expanding into slowly more colors. And like the RGB is so garish and like so very like raw, red, green, blue. And then you keep red, green, yellow? I can't remember. It's the colors that the human eye sees, I think. And RGB is, I think, a different thing. Anyway, it's like it keeps going until the plane overhead goes, and suddenly color keeps seeping in more and more, and like it's subtler colors until he just breaks out of those stupid little cinema bars. Well, stupid is the wrong word, but like you know what I mean. And it's really nifty about that. Also, another different random detail. I like that guy who essentially like he what's the word looking for imprints upon that old guy who imprints on Shizuka. He's like he sees her, he keeps calling her by his wife's name, and that's like a thing that like happens with people with dementia or like other stuff like that, where they will call people by the wrong name, but like functionally they will see a person that they like and they'll still call them by a different name of a different person that they like. And like, so it's this idea that like Shizuka reminds him of his wife in some way that is like more than just she is approximately the same size and shape as his wife potentially was. It's like there's something about Shizuka's personality and her like her willingness to do stuff and everything that makes him go, just like my wife. I love her. Like there's something about her. I love her. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the old guy at the farm, right? The
Yes.
village.
Yeah.
I like
The
that
guy
detail.
that's like clearly on his way out. Yeah.
Wait, I don't think I understand. Why do you suppose that that's the reason why he took such an affinity to her?
Well,
I
it just
remember him
because it makes sense.
It was kind of like the joke of the character.
Yeah, that's kind of just how a lot of like dementia stuff works.
I don't know. I thought I liked it.
I liked it too.
I do want to, like, obviously Tom can pick the next subject, but, like, I definitely want to bring up at some point before this ends, I want to talk about the humor a little bit because it's very, like, the humor, it's very specific in a lot of ways, but I really like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm. But yeah, Tom, what would you like to talk about?
My talking point, I would like to kind of build off of the conversation that's already been happening almost. But there's something specific because like I'm a big industry guy. I like paying attention to studios and who is making what. You know, I figuring out that this was Bug Film's first thing, you know, and figuring out what their whole deal was interesting to me. But even though there was so much like negativity around, you know, the show coming out over the course of 6 months, and saying like, oh, you know, the crunch, and all the working conditions and all this stuff, and like who knows what happened to make it this way. I know there's like if you look at the Mal page, there's like 9 different producers listed. Like it could have been like any type of reason of people just like creative differences or like this or that or like meddling and you know into what the director was doing. But as an adaptation, the people working on this did very much care. Mm-hmm. And I think my biggest touchstone for that was in episode 7. There is a part where it's like Shizuka's backstory. And you see her as a little kid, you know, her dad being like, you got to listen to me. And this is anime only, right? There is a shot of her reaching up to grab this like golden thread that's hanging down. That shot is specifically a reference to this short story that was like early 1910s. It was like 1918 or something like that. It was by this guy named Ryunosuke Akutagawa, and it's this short story called the what is it? The Spider's Thread. What it is,
I know this story.
Yeah, it's a very good short story. But it is the short story about Buddha is like walking along one day, and he finds this like pond, and at the bottom of this pond, he sees hell at the bottom of the pond, and he sees this guy in hell who is like a criminal, but he recognizes this guy as somebody who one day gave compassion to a spider by not stepping on it. He was going to and then decided not to and like let the spider go, right? So what Buddha does is essentially makes a golden thread. It depends on the version of the story. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's silver. It's been a while, so but in this it's gold, right? And it is signified as a golden thread of hope, right? So the and the story goes on from there and whatever, but a lot of shows and movies in Japanese media and games too, whatever, make reference to like this golden thread of hope. It's almost like reference like the red wire of fate, or something along those lines.
Red string of
yeah. So like in this moment, they're making this reference to this short story that is like fully encapsulating what Shizuka is feeling at this time, right? And it's not source material. It's totally outside. It is just something that this production wanted to like put their stamp on. They wanted to make something special and be like, hey, this is a perfect encapsulation of what Shizuka is feeling, how she feels like this thread of hope is like she had it, and now it was like she pulled away from it in the scene. But now she realizes, looking back on it, that like this is what Akira is to me, right? He gave me hope by saving me, right? He gave me hope by showing compassion, like selfless compassion, by saving me from that zombie shark, right? And now later on in the episode, that's when she gives back to him by being the thread of hope for him and telling him to be like, hey, you need to, tell off your boss, essentially. Like I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do anymore, and neither are you, right? So I really liked, I just really thought it was great how how they wanted to do something special. They didn't just want to make this like a beat for beat, just moving manga aesthetic adaptation, like just this normal like bog standard. They really wanted to do something unique and special and put their own ideas into the show. You know what I mean? So like I said, I was just kind of building off of what James was already saying, but I really liked this detail a lot.
Oh wow, yeah. I straight up, it was kind of, the symbolism was kind of lost on me, because like I saw it and I was like, that means something. I'm sure I know what it's referencing, and it means something here, but I don't get it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you explained it. I was like, oh
But
my goodness.
And
wait.
it's not a shot that's like so focused on, that's like it would be like it happens, you see it and you're like, oh well, what was that? But it's not so focused on that it's like jarring to be like, well, how is that important? Like, what's going on? It's just like it's literally on screen for like 3 seconds. Like, it's not important at all. It is this very quick and poignant reference to be like, hey, this is we are referencing these type of feelings. We want to communicate this. If you get the reference, that's awesome. If you don't, it's just kind of there. It's not bothersome. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the type of stuff that I really love. And And it just clearly showed me that, like, even though there were all these problems that came out of the production and all these rumors going about, like, what happened exactly, like, these people really still did care about what they were making.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Absolutely. And that's always wonderful to see.
I remembered retroactively one last detail that I think is one of my favorite details. The little Aki Riger theme, whatever, it is so fucking Splatoon, and I love that about it.
Is it?
Like,
Yeah,
there's
man,
something
I get
about
it.
the soundtrack
never-
of this show that feels like the Splatoon soundtrack,
I've
and I
never
mean
played
this in all of the
Splatoon.
best ways.
I said I've never played Splatoon, so what is the
Oh my
sound
gosh. So
like?
the Splatoon soundtrack is this weird, interesting fucking mishmash of genres and influences. And it's very punk and it's very ska and it's also very like experimental in a lot of weird, interesting ways, but it's so fucking cohesive. And so like in that way, like what I mean by it's giving Splatoon energy is that like the range of that one choral piece of despair, so to speak, all the way to the Aki Riger theme, it reminds me of Splatoon because like there's these weird, crunchy, interesting cello samples, for instance. Like there's this weird crunchy stuff going on in the Grizzco sections of Splatoon, and then there's also the fucking Splatfest themes and like fucking Rainbow Incantation. Amazing. But like it's like the idea is that like there's something about the little like that like the musical samples going on in the Aki Riger theme made me go Splatoon, and like the colors probably also associated it a little more with Splatoon, but like also it's like there's this thematic thing in Splatoon about like life is more colorful when you're fucking around and finding out in a lot of ways. It's really fun and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it reminds me of Splatoon, and I feel like it might have been a little bit intentional.
Just because the color schemes of the zombie blood kind of... It's like the same kind of poppy bright colors that Splatoon likes to use.
Yeah.
Ink.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see.
And Splatoon is a
some
post-apocalypse
inspiration.
too.
What is it? Really?
Oh yeah.
Yes, for real. The squids
Big time.
are like inheriting the world from the humanity that was humanity is gone. Fucking
There was a
destroyed.
giant
the only
bear.
mammal left on the planet is the bear.
Splatoon is way more complicated than I thought it was.
Oh, so complicated. You have no idea.
Okay, do we want to get into like the going into space time, the all sea creatures getting okay.
No, we want to talk about trauma and
The
Zom
memory
100.
crystals.
This is about Zom 100.
No,
It's about Zom 100.
I would like, since we have all had our chance to say our piece, I would like to talk about episode 7.
Oh.
And how
Yeah.
fucking brilliantly this show goes into abuse and trauma from an from an unconventional source, because the person abusing Akira is of course his manager, his employer, and we get plenty of shows about people who are abused by romantic partners, by friends, by parents especially. But this particular kind of, I'm not a psychologist, but I'm going to say complex post-traumatic stress disorder that Akira is dealing with as a result of this horrible employer he had, and how it can all just come crashing back the second you interact with this person again, and how you can find yourself falling into that submissive mentality that you were in, even though you have ostensibly broken free from it, the world has ended, you no longer have any obligation to this person at all. The fact that Akira never tells him off to his face, never tells him what a fucker he's been. Just, I feel like this show had so many outs to have that cathartic, in your face, like, speaking your mind moment, and it never takes it the way I think other shows would have. And it's just so deft.
It's a beautiful exhibit of restraint.
Mm-hmm.
Jam, can I actually ask you to like read what you wrote for
Episode 7?
Yeah, episode 7, and specifically about hold
Let's
on.
see here. Let me find it. That's fine.
I liked it. I replied to it.
Oh,
I do.
let's see here. Oh yeah, that specific one. So I said this on Tumblr when episodes 6 and 7 aired, and I will say it again. Zom 100 made facing your abuser more viscerally horrifying than everybody in the safe area getting picked up one by one by the zombie infection. And they're correct to do so.
Yeah, honestly.
It's just like, they're bringing back visual language from episode 1, and they're also adding more language on top of it, because it's not the same, but it's the same, but it's not the same, but it's the same, and like it feels the same for the audience as it does for Akira, where it's like, it's not the same, but it's the same, it's not the same, but it's the same, and it's so good.
I was a little bit confused because I thought that this man died in episode 1. I thought that he was the CEO.
No.
Oh,
He was the other
yeah,
guy.
No, they're different
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Yeah, he's the other
I
guy.
mean,
I thought they were the same
him
man.
and I was gonna say him and the CEO are the same trope, so I understand the confusion. But
Yeah.
Sorry if anybody can
Yeah.
hear some crunching on my mic. I've got pita chips.
No,
I haven't heard a
don't
single thing, to be
care.
honest.
I haven't
so I
started
think,
crunching yet.
Oh.
I was apologizing in advance. But no, I've watched a shit ton of anime. It's my job. But it's very rare that I feel so viscerally involved in a relationship like this with Akira and his boss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they portrayed that emotion incredibly well, with the desaturation, the music, the facial expressions that Tendo has where his eyes go all big and gray.
Mm-hmm.
Just incredible work all around.
I will say about that, though, I think what was before, I mean, they really leaned hard on the visual metaphor of, like, Akira walking with the zombies, like, to really just hammer home, like, hey, this is death. Like,
They aren't subtle.
Yeah, they're not that, but that's kind of my problem. Like, the subtlety of it before, I mean, it was on the nose, and not in a bad way, again. But like, I felt like that was a little too over the top.
Sure.
I still like the visual, but I was like, damn, they're really leaning hard into it.
Yeah.
No arguments.
As someone who's gone through work abuse like that, I honestly I wouldn't call it over the top.
Same.
I guess that's
I
fair.
think you would react in the same way as Akira. Like,
Yes.
if you were in some kind of situation like that. Yeah. I mean, I can definitely believe. I don't have any complaints against this behavior. I feel like I just personally cannot relate to it, which I guess I should be thankful for.
Yeah, I've had bad workplace situations where I've felt like, damn, like, my boss is an asshole, I want to leave, but I just leave, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thankful to never have been in a position where I felt like I couldn't leave, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But I think regardless of whether or not you have been or haven't been, the ideas behind it are still so, like, it's so visceral and so poignant that anybody can kind of understand, regardless of whether you've been in a terrible, shitty, abusive job like Akira has or not, you know?
Well, that's what's so good about it, right?
Yeah.
Is because you don't have to have been there to understand it.
It's transcendent in that way.
I've never been employed, is that right? I've never had a boss.
Okay.
And I'm the one who brought this whole thing up. Because the emotions are portrayed so well that somebody who has never been in that situation can feel like they understand exactly what's going on here and exactly how it feels. Like, you can relate it to other things in your life that you've been through if you need to. But no, they just did such a good job visually portraying what Akira's feeling in this moment. and not
Mm-hmm.
not trying to water it down or make it this story beat that it could have been, where it's this cathartic bow on everything, where he gets to punch his boss in the face.
Mm-hmm.
No, just let him slide back to where he was. Worse, even.
Hook.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the fact that Shizuka notices this, and like that's another aspect of their relationship that I find interesting, is that like at the beginning Shizuka is just like, this is some dude who for some reason keeps popping up in my life, and I don't know why, but I've grown attached to him at this point. And then like she sees him slipping into this state, and she instantly recognizes, oh, that's me. I'm recognizing myself in this fucking man. Oh god. And like she doesn't know what to do, because she's never had to fix that within herself either. So but she's like, she's just removed enough from the current situation that she can be like, okay, I know what a smaller version of myself would have needed / wanted. I will be the adult that protects like myself, but I also want to reach out to him and tell him, hey, you have saved my fucking life before. And you are dying right now, and I'm pulling you the fuck. Oh my god, wait, you're dying right now. I'm pulling you out. I saw the TV glow.
I
Not
don't
this time.
know what that means.
No.
I've
not
heard-
this
I
time.
feel like you made the same reference before, and
I have heard
What do you mean before?
like
I
last
have-
stream or the stream before that.
Both, and the stream before that. Every time they've been on a stream.
I think
You'll be
I-
happy to
three
know.
streams.
You'll be happy to
I
know.
have-
Sorry, Jackson, go ahead.
I have seen the TV glow thing so many times, and I don't know what it means.
I
the
saw the
title
TV
of a
glow is
movie.
the title of a movie.
Oh, okay.
So you'll
be
it is
happy
a
to
horror
know.
movie about queer repression, and it's saying the same thing as Zom 100. I'm fucking serious.
It is the egg
thematically
breaker.
same. The what?
Oh.
The egg breaker.
The egg breaker.
I went
It's
to
like-
my alma mater last month,
Ooh.
and I was talking with
Ooh.
my former thesis advisor, which, if any of you haven't done it, if you've graduated college, go back to college and talk to your professors as just dudes. It's amazing. But
You
I
have
was-
no power over me.
Yeah, no, I was talking with Andy about about some things, and at the end of it, I was like, all right, one piece of media, recommend it to me, and I will watch it before the next time we speak. And he said, I saw the TV glow. So I figured, James, you would want to know that.
Yes.
So I'm going to watch it before mid-November.
Yeah.
And then
It's
we
like
can
the
have a
relationship
nice
between the
long
main
talk.
character and their best friend. The best friend is the person who like the best friend disappears from the main character's life. That's like one of the major incidents of the fucking movie.
Mhm.
And then when the friend reappears, this is where the whole movie takes even a deeper turn into the horror of everything, because the big metaphor is about queer repression. The main character is suffocating, buried alive. Like it's like this whole thing, and it's just like that's like you're dying. Like the friend is saying, you are dying. You don't know it, but you're fucking dying. And like it's like I was dying. You are still dying. Like it's just like, please. It's this whole thing, and it's like that's the thing that's happening in this episode. Is Jesus says, you're dying. Live with me, please.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's also an interesting angle to talk about it in, because the whole premise of the show relies on Akira not being afraid of death, because he already felt so dead as a wage slave that he was like, well, I might as well just get eaten by zombies if I can't live my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like he says, like he's watching that fucking zombie movie, which another detail, the makeup artist for that zombie movie appearing in his life, and just like I love little divine coincidences like that. That's so cute to me.
I thought it was a different zombie movie.
It's the same movie, and
Oh,
they
it's
were
the same
filming
one.
the sequel when the zombie outbreak happened.
Oh, they were filming the sequel. Okay, that makes sense.
It's like that movie, he's watching the movie, and the first line he says in the fucking show is, damn, kind of looks like heaven to me. And like he's saying it mostly sarcastically. And it's the thing that leads into every night I have the same thought. Please let me not wake up. Like, God fucking damn.
Yeah.
And it's like... I don't know if I have the articulation skills, but you know.
No, absolutely fantastic stuff. Jackson, you wanted to talk about the humor in the show, and we got about 15 more minutes before we have to make our picks for next time.
Yeah, so I figured we could end this talking about like some of our favorite jokes because this show has a lot of jokes.
Which jokes?
And we can. So it's one like I think honestly my favorite joke is near the end when it's like a 3-episode long joke because it starts with the dad and he's got like the mysterious illness and we think we're gonna do the mysterious illness trope, and then by the end of it just turns out that he has hemorrhoids and he just really doesn't like the doctor. It's a really good bit because you sit there and wonder, is it like, oh, is it cancer? Is he like actually gonna die? No, he just has hemorrhoids.
No,
And he gets uncomfortable.
I was watching this with a friend of mine, and he saw the mother say, like, your father has one of those insidious growths. Like, can you not say the word cancer? Do you not?
Yeah,
Did the word cancer go away in the zombie apocalypse?
I when I was watching it, I thought it was like a translation thing.
Yeah.
Again, I was watching subs, so like I was like, oh, I guess there was just a word for tumor or cancer or something that was just like, oh, one of those growths, and then it just turns out to be fucking hemorrhoids. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, they shouldn't have said it like that. I don't think that flagged it too much.
Yeah,
that made you kind of predicted the joke.
Well, no, I didn't. I thought it was a weird translation thing too, but it did.
Okay.
It did draw attention to the fact. Like it had my brain working in the background. So
I think
anytime Shizuka oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think when we're talking about like the overall humor, unless James, you were gonna talk about something that I was gonna jump off into another thing.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, you were gonna, like, let's go around and say, like, a favorite joke or something. I just like whenever Shizuka is being the straight man. I think it's great.
She does very well in that role.
To just like bounce off of that real quick, I guess it's not really just a favorite joke, but like a favorite scene is just when the three of them are just at the car dealership picking out cars is so good.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean, like, that could be argued as like a joke scene because it's like them having an argument about how they're like what RV they're trying to pick out while there are zombies slowly closing in on them.
Well,
and then they notice the zombies and they're like, shit, pick one.
If we're including stuff like that, then it's absolutely the reveal of the 6-legged zombie shark.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
Akira, what's that? That's Drake. What is that?
It
Hey,
had that
Spencer, what have
energy.
you got there?
6-legged zombie shark. Why? Oh, it wouldn't fit in the aquarium.
No, that's
really a Cox shotgun Moon's haunted moment.
No, I know, that's what I mean. Like, that's what I mean is like this like when I say jokes, I mean like this show has so like they have really good written jokes, but this show is so much physical comedy that it really like
the thing that stuck out to me now that I'm thinking about it, and I don't think I would call this a joke, but the Dead Rising reference when Kensho's just like, are we actually riding a motorcycle through the underground of a mall?
Oh yeah. In that same episode, they have a Resident Evil shot of like the truck driver eating a hamburger.
Oh my god, you're right.
Isn't the opening?
That whole scene was electric. Oh, sorry. Go, Tenek.
Oh, I just said, like, isn't the zombie eating a burger, like, in the opening? Or maybe I'm mixing it up.
It
because
is.
The opening has a scene where there's a lyric that says burger, and it coincides with a zombie
Yeah.
I mean, not actually eating a burger, just.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that zombie's in the opening too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I do like how many times Kensho's ass saves the day.
Mhm.
Literally.
I guess this isn't a conversation, but how fucking uncomfortable I was at all moments when Kensho was talking with that small child in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Your usual brand of
They
fixing
really make
things,
you worry.
Your usual brand of fixing things is not gonna work here, buddy. Like,
I was glad when he started juggling. I was like, "Oh, interesting, new thing." And
then he's like, I'm gonna juggle naked, and you're like, oh.
I have some unfortunate news in regards to the manga.
Oh
no.
What do you
Did they
mean?
set up what I think they did?
No, I just mean that they only just do naked jokes.
that's
that's his thing, yeah.
He's allowed to be naked.
That's just one bit.
He's allowed to be naked, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna find it funny.
Well, nobody said he was a good comedian.
Oh my god.
I mean, this is his first time trying to be a comedian. I think we could give him a little bit of a break.
That's something I actually wanted to talk about, what I was going to talk about earlier. I did not actually find the show overall that funny. Like, I don't think any of the jokes actually made me laugh, like, out loud. Except, I think, for probably the shark. That one was good. But I think the show itself is just so fun and lively and jovial that it doesn't, like, the comedy doesn't land, but I don't need it to.
It doesn't need jokes.
Yeah, exactly. But I also think, like, episode 8 was the most, like, jokey and, like, you know, trying to be funny, and I think that one is the worst episode to me for that.
episode 8 was the hot springs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Springs of the Dead. It's the one.
Oh, there was one scene in the hot spring. Oh wait, sorry, Tenic, you were talking.
Yeah, I was just saying episode 8 is the one where they meet Beatrix and they do wacky hijinks to save the fish. I mean, not save the fish, get them to the sushi
Yeah.
cook.
And
the hot
I like her little Kongbing thing that she did. That was so cute. Shizuka did, where she's just like pose. Kongbing appears in the background.
No, see, to me, if we didn't watch your boy Kong Bing, I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
Serendipity.
We love to see it.
See,
I
everything
wanted to
you
say-
consume improves your life. You learn a little bit.
Why do you think I've been referencing Splatoon and I saw the TV glow and XYZ this entire time?
Yeah, but we also mentioned Arrow Manga Sensei earlier, so come on,
Everything you consume improves your life. You learn a little bit.
Except Angel Beats. Angel Beats has nothing to say.
Angel Beats consumed me.
Dang.
Did it
And
really?
it's better for it.
Look, I went back and listened to that podcast on Angel Beats. Y'all was too hard on my Angel Beats, okay? I like Angel Beats. It's fun.
And here I thought
Listen,
I would
man.
miss you if you left.
Dang.
Listen, man.
Kokoro Connect, I love them all.
Listen,
Hey, I liked
admit-
Wodokoi and I got insulted for it.
Oh yeah, why?
That was.
I'm
so
trying
hard to
to.
watch.
I lost
That
the
whole
momentum. I'm sorry, my joke didn't work.
Anyway, what were we? Speaking of jokes, were we still on the joke thing, or were we at a different place?
Did you have
I
to-
kind of wanted
what?
to say my bit. No one
Mhm.
mentioned every time. It only happens a couple times, but every time Beatrix starts explaining way too deeply some
It
specific
speeds up.
aspect of Japanese culture. Yeah, and it speeds up.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that was so
Mhm.
cute and funny. Her little info
Mhm.
dumping.
Mhm.
I do love the thought of a foreigner knowing more about Japanese culture than Japanese people do, at least in the details.
Yeah.
But well, because that's always how it is.
Like they're like,
right?
I was not paying that much
Yeah.
attention in history class.
Sure, but you don't have like any particular interest in Japanese culture in the way that Beatrix does.
Correct.
But like whenever I talk with somebody who immigrated to the United States, they could pass a civics exam today. Like, they all know so much more about American history than pretty much any American I talk to every time.
Yeah.
Even people who are just visiting.
100%.
Like,
no, I get exactly what you mean with that.
And, like, I don't know. I guess it isn't like that as much in Europe. Because, like...
Is it not?
Well, I mean, yeah, well, it's because there are so many smaller countries. Europe is seen as more of a monolithic thing. But, like, I've been a foreigner in Europe for months at a time, and I've talked with expats and other people who've had long-term stays in Europe. And it's just, it's not as big of a thing to just know shit tons of information about the country you're in.
Yeah.
I guess that's fair.
I can confirm that personally. Can I just bring up another thing about the show, not necessarily related to the humor that I kind of wanted to mention at one point. I don't think I've seen an anime where I felt like it presented such a clearly Confucian message, like at least in the second half and like the last arc. I mean, because the whole village arc, which I don't think we really mentioned, really places a great emphasis on your parents and being thankful to your parents for everything they've done, like expressing that kind of filial reverence.
And what's really interesting to me is that like Tendo is thinking of it in terms of like, what can I do to like make their lives better? And his dad and his mom are essentially saying, you are the reward for raising you. You, Tendo, are the reward for raising you that we got. Do you understand this, my son?
That is a very nice message to have.
I didn't have a kid so you could do the dishes. We had a kid because we had a kid.
I didn't have my first kid so they could do the dishes.
No, I completely... that is a very good point, dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like... Yeah, so what Star said about the reward is true, but they also do mention, like, his father especially, that he wants Akira to, I mean, go out into the world, fulfill his dream, kind of work for the betterment of humanity. He has this more, like, universal way of seeing, I mean, how Akira should structure his life. Which I think does kind of contrast a bit with Akira, who, I mean, ironically, even though he is the son, he's the one who has more of the Confucian values that are making him act.
Yeah, it's sort of like, to Akira, the world is something that he is, like, a smaller piece of, and not necessarily a thing that he, like, sees as, like, how do I explain? It's like, to Akira, the value of the world is, this is a fun place for me to exist in. And to Akira's dad, the value of the world is, this is all of existence. And he's saying, like, make the world better because that is a good thing to be doing. And Akira hears that and he says, I will make the world better because I believe that my dad holds these values for a reason, and I believe in, like, it's a very I believe in the believe in the me that believes in you almost kind of thing. Like, he's like, the value that I find in doing what my dad is telling me to do is not necessarily the thing itself so much as fulfilling what I believe to be the thing that will make me more realized as myself.
Excuse me.
And part of myself is being this man's son.
Yeah, the interconnectivity of everything in Zom 100 is something that I don't think we got into enough.
Yeah.
But I do speak in the past tense because it's 1:45. And we end this at 2. And today I have a nice date planned with my wife, so I want to make sure we end on time. As much as I love you.
But of course.
I already got my next one picked out.
All right.
I
I'd like to talk about whether or not we want to do a theme, but I
No
don't think
theme.
we do.
I think we should. I mean, we said that you said that you'd be up for doing the thing again this month, where the pick with the least votes wins.
Sure, but now you've said
Right.
that, so we can't do it.
yeah.
Oh damn.
Is that how it works?
That's supposed to be a twist. Okay, cool.
It's supposed to be a secret.
One of these days, we will again try to pick the worst show. But today I was not prepared to have a theme. I would have to.
I mean,
pick a
we
different
could-
thing.
normal.
I
Are
mean,
we
we could do
gonna-
like the ones that are like so bad they're good in a kind of way.
No
'cause,
theme.
like, that's
Just
kinda
pick
what my pick
an
is.
anime you want to talk about.
Fine. Okay. Jesus. I'm gonna pick
Scrub.
talentless. Wait, no. Let's do our final wrap up of Zom 100. We didn't do it. We didn't do
Oh
any
shit!
grades.
We didn't
of
do the
course.
numbers.
Oh,
Oh,
I
great.
guess we can do numbers. Like those are
Eight.
those are actually important.
I give it an 8 out of
I give
10.
it
High 7, but
I give
down
it-
to an 8.
I give it a
Jackson.
B+ out of 10.
A B plus. Tenic.
Ooh.
I mean, I put it at a 6 when I finished it. I do think maybe all your positive comments would make me think like, okay, maybe it's more like a 7. So I'll say like 6.5
Sure.
for now.
Scrub.
I give it 3 billion zombies out of the Earth's population.
Okay, that's very low.
Oh, is it? Hold on.
That's a 3 out of 8.
Oh, I'll give it a 7 billion zombies then.
Okay.
7 billion.
Okay, I'm gonna give the show a 9.5 out of 10 because
Wow.
Revolutionary Girl Utena is like my is my benchmark that I'm set. Revolutionary Girl Utena and I Saw the TV Glow are my benchmarks here, and I'm like, okay, I cried a little harder at those things, so 9.5.
Mhm. And Tom.
I also give it an 8.
All right. So
Yep.
Tom is right.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
I don't know if anyone heard. I said a B+ out of 10 . Thank you.
Yeah, I heard. I repeated
Yeah.
it.
You
Everyone,
just said B+.
Jackson is very funny.
Clap,
Let's all
clap for
clap for
Jackson.
Jackson.
Do it now.
Well done, Jackson.
And
Very
every-
avant-garde.
Yeah, I have my and everyone clapped moment. I'm so happy.
Sorry, what was the rating?
Rating was B+.
All right.
All right. For my pick for next time, we're gonna go with. Wait, hold on. There are 6 of us, and I think the most I can put in a poll is 5.
Okay.
So I will not make a pick, but if I did make a pick, if I'm wrong about this, I'm gonna pick Talentless Nana. Talentless Nana is a show that many of you have not heard of. Fairly
I watched
recent.
that.
Okay.
About a secret superhero school out in the middle of nowhere with a twist.
Can't
What a
spoil the
twist.
twist.
Can't spoil the twist.
Fun. Can't spoil
Jackson.
the twist.
Like I said, I've been kind of in like a so bad it's good phase recently.
Mhm.
And I completely forgot to think of one, so I was Googling it about 3 minutes before I have to say it now.
Okay.
And so, one, like, if I had, like, mine can also be vetoed. I'm okay, like, we can, like, I think the 6 of us can decide which one we could probably kick. If I had to bring one forward, I would like to choose No Game, No Life, because I haven't watched that in a really long time, and I feel like I feel like being like it's very so bad it's good, and
Man,
I
that
enjoy
one's
it
just
for that.
good.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That one's just good.
I disagree with you completely.
Okay,
it's not the
but,
I've heard
best
so many
anime, but
conflicting
I'm
things
not
about this
laughing at
anime.
it.
I'm curious.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
Morbidly.
All right. Okay. No Game, No Life. Tenic.
Hmm.
So no theme, right?
No
so Just
theme.
whatever. Paranoia Agent again.
Okay.
I have a good feeling.
Ooh,
I'd
that
like
one.
to see it.
Based?
Scrub.
Finally, it is November. This is like this and January are the only months where it like feels appropriate to watch this show. Girls Last Tour.
Yeah.
Ah!
Yes.
I I think this is like the 9th time it's been nominated. James.
This is the second.
No, I've nominated it a few times, and you've also nominated it a few times.
Once.
Okay. James?
I'm gonna pick I had to, and now I'm gonna pick the one that I would be less emotionally devastated if it lost. Like I would not be emotionally devastated if Yuki Yuna is a hero lost.
Oh, me either. I hate that show.
It was weirdly formative for me.
Now I kind of want to watch it. My high school ex watched that show and insisted that it was good.
No.
And I have been curious about it since then.
No,
I have thoughts about it.
I was looking for more stuff like Madoka because I had watched Magical Girl site recently, and then I made the video, and I was like, okay, let's watch more Dark Magical Girl shows. So I watched Magical Girl Raising Project, which is very fun. And then I watched Yuki Yuna as a hero because people were raving about it, and I was like, this is the the middest out of 10 anime I have ever seen.
Is it boring? So it's like boring?
Really boring and incomprehensible.
It is incomprehensible. Like, it stops making sense in the 3rd episode. Like, not from a sense of, like, it gets pretentious, in the sense of, like, it stops making, it stops making timeline sense.
Yep.
Like, it stops being what we're looking for.
Jackson's crunching his mic.
Sorry.
Jackson
Anyway,
stole the
Tom's
pita
next.
chips.
Pita chips, yeah.
Tom.
Sorry.
Show that I really, really would like to talk about, Sunny Boy.
Ah, Sunny Boy.
I would
remember
love to
watching
talk
the
about
first
Sunny
half of that
Boy.
with you all.
And then we collectively
I've read that
decided that it should
Never
end
to
at
watch
that
Sunny
first
Boy
half.
again.
No,
Yeah.
I love it so much. It's perfect.
All right. So for
Which-
next month, our picks are Tentatively Talentless Nana, No Game No Life, Paranoia Agent, Girls Last Tour, Yuki Yuna is a Hero, and Sunny Boy. I'm going to be putting that poll up probably tomorrow because we're going to have to run pretty soon. But you all are welcome to vote on that at any time until the 1st of the month, which is usually when it ends. I have a feeling we know what's going to win. But,
Yes, Sunny Boy.
I legitimately have no idea. There's some interesting picks on here, but
I
it's
think it's
probably going to be No Game
by
No
a
Life.
mile.
Yeah, probably.
All right, everyone on YouTube, if you would like to get in on this Discord call for yourself, you can go to patreon.com/explanationpoint to find out how. And until next time, goodbye, everyone.
Gooby.
Gooby.
Bye.
Gooby will see you.
Bye.